Here we go. It's 29th of May. We've got NVIDIA results. We've got the market rallying. We have Trump has been told, no, sir. You do not get to.
Slapped on his fingers.
He has, but he's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're here to dive into all of it, Rich. Like the outfit today, mate.
Thanks very much. Don't adjust your set. Reese does have a sale on. 50% off.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Primage, Dad.
Pre-marché.
Primage.
Yes, that's right. We're almost at 6,000 on the futures. Let's have a real do it. Well, 5,982. Have a quick look at those futures. You will see. Guess, did NVIDIA beat numbers or not? Yes, they did. But we got a massive bonus if you're a bull. In the Trump tariffs have been declared invalid. So we'll go into all that on today's show and more, because what is coming up as we go? Well, Ronnie's here.
I am.
And I'm looking smart.
Thank you, sir. And I am happy that we'll do the overnight action now. Going right into the opening bell, then fast markets, and then live from the trading desk with none else than Matt Arbor.
Wonderful, well done.
I can read.
What's coming up after that, Ronnie?
After that, 9 a.m., all session opening bell, solo by Senor Richard. 9:10, we got Traded Tools with producer Phil and Jolie Lepselter. Producer Phil.
Yeah.
Actually.
This is what happens when Angeline goes on holiday.
Oh, blimey. Then oh my God.
You're going to be tuning in for that one, aren't you?
They're just putting anyone on the show nowadays. 9:35, we got Trading Experiences with Richard McDonald and Dylan Radigan.
Mate, don't be surprised if your microphone gets switched off at some point now. Monkey Man says, looking sharp. Thank you very much. I am having brunch with the mighty Wisdom Tree today.
Oh,
so
really?
we're off for a fancy Chelsea Ivy.
I just gotta.
I hope they're paying.
Well, just gotta try and fix my cable here.
Oh dear.
Oh,
mate, what is up with you this morning?
You know what?
I know what's up with you.
Let's just dive in.
Talking about overnight action, Ronnie let it slip last week that he had 2 dates with the same girl. So we're here for the update. Has there been a third date over bank holiday?
There's been a third and a fourth, mate.
Play the music.
Well, so far it's going good. I think I can say that I'm out of the game. We'll see. I haven't told my dad yet, so maybe if he watches the show, he'll find out.
That love is in the air.
Anyhow,
we need a bit of Lenny Kravitz, don't we?
We do love a bit of Lenny Kravitz.
Would you like to give your wife out a shout?
No. I'll keep her out of the spotlight for now.
Okay.
Respect her privacy, you know?
Right, let's have a look then at some overnight action. Go on, get it all out. Parky 1977. Rich heading straight to the golf course after the show, is he? Is that what you wear to the golf?
I was telling them this morning that he looked like he watched too much 2.5 Men.
There was 2.5 Men. There was the comment in the gallery was Charlie Sheen. Good. Jesse14 saying, well done. The music level was much better. Even my sister complained about the music, the volume at the start of the show. So good morning, Cheryl, up there in Golspie. And then Abby Fine saying, good morning to everybody. Kate Murphy is tuning in from New Zealand. There's a certain reason things are 50% off.
Yeah.
Bit cheeky.
I do agree with her though. I like her. Kate Murphy, you should watch the show more often.
I'm not going to go there.
Can't even make the weight joke anyway.
Why is your laptop in front of you? People can't see how bad your shirt really is.
Oh, this is actually Uniqlo.
Right, let's have a look at what's happened then. Well, you would have thought I would have put a lot of money on NVIDIA being the top story this morning, but it's not really. The top story is that the flow of drugs into America from Canada the tariff on that, blocked. The flow of drugs up from Mexico, the tariff on that, blocked.
Which kind of drugs?
The opioids tariff on China, blocked. And all reciprocal tariffs announced on April the 2nd have been deemed by the Court of International Trade to be that he just didn't have that jurisdiction to go.
Yeah, he was claiming that he was sort of working under economic special
Emergency powers,
right? But it was not justified. But they've sort of countersued now. They've sued the Trump administration has sued. So we'll see how.
Well, not sued. They've appealed.
Sued.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not trying to get money out of it.
Hey.
So that's right. So he's not had a great 24 hours, old Trumpy, because one of the CNBC reporters put to him yesterday, "What's your response to this tackle trade term?"
Tackle trade?
The tackle trade.
Can you enlighten us?
He says, "Oh, well, you should have been watching yesterday's show." Yesterday, we mentioned. So the tackle trade is Trump always chickens out.
Oh, that's what they were saying is Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, exactly.
Yeah.
And they put this to him, and he, funnily enough, he wasn't best pleased.
Oh.
And that was before he found out that the judge had slapped him in the face with this as well. However, let's go back to those futures markets. Look at them, up 1.6%. The Nasdaq up 2%. Now, that is a little bit of a fool's rally. Because if you believe that this is going to stop Trump, and with his tariffs, when he thinks, he's the man that can fix all America's problems, he's going to find a way. He'll get it to the Supreme Court, and then, of course, the Supreme Court is appointed by him, and he'll get it passed. So why people are buying equities into this is
Funnily enough, I was listening this morning to Bloomberg's coverage last night of NVIDIA. And when Jensen Huang came on, he was talking about President Trump, of course.
Yeah.
And it was quite interesting to see or hear how he was praising these tariffs, saying that it's going to be one of the best decisions and transformative for the American economy and production going forward.
Are you sure you weren't listening to Fox News?
No, I swear.
Because that is bullshit.
If you listen to the podcast link that I sent you, you would have heard it as well.
So, front page of the Financial Times today, Jensen Huang complaining about the tariffs.
He wasn't complaining.
He said in the conference call last night, where are we now? Maybe it's on business. NVIDIA boss warns Donald Trump export rules risk America's AI leadership.
He was talking, that's the export rules, not the tariffs. That's two different things, mate.
Okay, no, I'll give you that one.
Yes.
I'll give you that one.
The export rules are actually damaging. So for example, previously they had sort of these technical parameters that they put restrictions on speed, resolution, and whatnot. And they say, oh, you can't sell chips that have better numbers than this, etc.
Yeah.
Now they've sort of moved the goalpost and made it even, less attractive chips. That's why they lost out on these $8 billion worth of revenue.
And it does seem unfair, doesn't it? Because they literally, they built the H20s to comply to the regulations of the administration.
Exactly, yeah.
And then, as you say, the goalposts changed.
Yeah, so they've shifted the goalpost, and now Jensen is saying that Huawei, one of their biggest competitors in the Chinese market, who is also the second biggest market for the AI chips, they are now developing chips, and they're at the levels that was the H200, so the predecessor.
Yeah.
So they're coming to a point now where it's our Chinese companies, the Tencent, the Alibaba, the Baidus. Are they simply going to realize that it's not worth buying NVIDIA sort of earlier models or cheaper versions? They're simply going to go to Huawei, who are building these better and faster and catching up. And then it's going to be AI built on Chinese tech and stack rather than American.
Exactly. His quote, the question is not whether China will have AI. It already does. And it's got very good AI. The question is whether one of the world's largest AI markets, with 50% of the world's AI developers in it, will run on American platforms. And that's his argument. Whether you agree with that or not, I'm not sure. You know, there is arguments on both sides. If America truly believes it's got the best hardware, do you give it to a rival in the fight to become the world's biggest economy?
What if I put you in the hot chair, Rich McDonald, President of the United States of America? It's your decision on NVIDIA. Are we allowing a free chips and everything, just free flow to China, or no?
No way.
No way.
Hell no.
No way, Jose.
No way.
Why not?
My friends,
Oh, I shouldn't have done this.
my patriots.
I apologize, guys. For everyone at home, I apologize.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I agree with your first point that the tariffs are, some of the tariffs are applicable, but especially to the countries that do not follow the same, theory of freedom of speech for the people. Then you shouldn't give your best technology to.
That's where you draw the line?
Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
Eric Jones is saying that you have reading comprehension problems.
Yeah, no, I don't know what that relates to. Give us more, Eric. Give us more.
That's my friend from Boston.
Certainly got accent problems. Right. Paul on Rich's shirt, Monkey Man, leave it out. Let's look. We've started talking about NVIDIA, so why don't we go on to that? Because
that little small tech startup.
The little tech startup that reported numbers last night. Where were you when numbers came out, Ron Dog?
I was
on date 4.
Sitting right outside there working the late shift, maximizing shareholder value and generating client value and insights.
Championing the client.
Yes, sir. We're watching, and our beloved Luke Moore was working on the late shift from home.
Nice.
So we were texting each other back and forth.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gutted I wasn't on that conversation.
His prediction was that it was going to be a nothing burger, which kind of missed.
Well, let's go through those numbers. So
yeah,
I wouldn't call it a nothing burger. Not at all. It was eye-opening, and it was really, you got to see into the potential. And I think that's what Jensen was really trying to get forward, that if the curbs didn't exist, then his sales would have been $53 billion for the quarter we are in now, so Q2.
Yeah.
$53 billion is absolutely incredible, blowout, way beyond anybody has in their numbers.
And at a 71% margin.
Exactly. That leads to EPS well over $1, right? And if you're talking over $1 EPS, when the growth is still happening. Remember, like, we are just on the beginning of the inference reasoning part of AI, right? This is, we've done the basic level, we've done the beginners, the starter course of AI. Now we're getting into, Eric Jones says, the Wagyu beef burger of when AI can actually reason. And it takes a moment and it comes up with incredible answers.
Yeah. And it's doing, and this is, we looked at, obviously AI is the big thing, but we have 6G in the pipeline, we have quantum computers in the pipeline. All of these are going to be fueled by NVIDIA chips, right? They're going to be leading the pack, and they're just, the growth is just exponential. I mean,
my assumption was always that we saw this 200% growth in revenues in the past 12 months. So if we go back 12 months, my thinking on NVIDIA was that this is a super cycle.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it might still be, and we've all seen super cycles, and those margins probably have to come down. But it was equivalent to the 2006 mining super cycle, right? GPUs today are what copper and iron ore was of 2006 when China was building its industrial revolution. Of course it was.
Okay.
So it's first time that anything's ever happened that a new invention has.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I'm not
profits.
really sort of, I wouldn't really equal the sort of technological impact of copper with
We're
AI
not talking
chips.
anything to do with technological. We're talking about profits that are supersized compared with normal. But then you go back to a normal cycle.
Okay, but their normality is going from 75% margin to 70, and when they went down
Well,
to
the 61% margin yesterday.
71.
61 for Q1.
Can producer Phil?
I'll tell you exactly what it was. If you put the 4.5 billion back in that he took the write down from, it was 71. But he had to take a 10% hit.
Right. Okay.
But you're saying that margins will not come down, but then you're championing Huawei chips.
No, I'm saying no. I agree with you. Margin 100% will come down because we'll see a sort of normalization. Even if I do believe we'll see continued growth, I do believe that we're going to see an NVIDIA with a yearly revenue of $200-300 billion in the not so long future. But with the development, because we're blocking the second biggest AI country, they're going to see development, and within a few years they've come up to the the speed and the close to the level of NVIDIA, not the Blackwell chips, but the big American tech companies, the Apples, the Microsofts, the Meta, the Googles, they haven't been able to get this far, but Huawei have done this. So I think they're just going to continue this, and they also have state backing.
But what I was saying was that there's the super cycle. It seemed on last year that, all right, you took NVIDIA from a 35, well, maybe from a 40 PE to a 35 to a 30 as its earnings continued to grow and grow.
Yeah.
Right? Now we're probably in a number of $4.50 EPS. Right? So if we take $4.50 of EPS for 2026, and we're talking about $140 share price, then we're talking 31 times PE. What I'm saying now is that from listening to Jensen last night and how he talks about agentic AI, and he talks about everything that's then to come in robotics, then I'm saying it's not a super cycle. Therefore, I'm not so quick to take the PE down. So therefore, if you're talking about a normalized 4.5 PE or 4.3, say, then you can put it on 35 times and the stock's 150. But the stock ain't 170. That's the difference.
All right. So bullish or bearish?
After last night, 100% bullish.
I agree with you for once. For once.
But still, if I was in options land and I'm thinking about it that way, I'm short the 170 calls.
That's reasonable.
I do not think that last night brings forward any new story. All last night gave us was clarity that the curbs are not screwing him.
Yeah, they're not screwing him for now, and the forward outlook is strong. But also, when he was asked what you lost on the Chinese sales, did you make up for that with Blackwell sales? And he said, "Yeah, I guess so." But yeah, so the Blackwell is doing even better than expected. And he's also going on a Europe tour now following, and he's going to meet all these heads of states.
Right.
Because there is, obviously a massive interest in keeping your data, your country's data within your country. Mm-hmm. And for you to have that, you need to have the infrastructure and the data centers locally.
Yeah.
So I think countries are starting to realize that just as you need water infrastructure, electricity infrastructure, public transport infrastructure, you're gonna need AI infrastructure.
Yeah.
And that's why he's getting, the red carpet rolled out for him by heads of state across Europe. Kind of like when you went to the Turkish office in Istanbul, right?
How do you know that?
You literally told me on the show, mate.
It was wonderful. Big shout out to Sharon and her husband. Well, the best part was that my trader's husband was head of security at Istanbul airport.
Oh, nice.
So we were whisked straight through No security, just give him my passport. And he took us into the security lounge, where he then gave us a demonstration of what the sniffer dogs can do.
Yeah, they can smell the curd on you.
So then Sharon said, oh, give him a demonstration. So he took out the biggest box of drugs that you'll ever see in your life. Every single drug that you could possibly get in an airport, right? Because obviously they've seized stuff.
Yeah, and wait, so these seized drugs, they were in his private residence now?
No, in the airport.
Okay.
The security lounge. And he took out a bag of heroin, and he put it into like a locker, and then he let the dog in the room, and the dog went round sniffing everywhere in the room, and then started literally bouncing its paw off the locker doors, and it managed to open the locker door and find it. It was unreal.
What a time to be alive, eh?
Well, that was 3 months before the terror attack on Istanbul airport. So, yeah, the dog didn't stop that.
I'm not going to say anything. Moving on. Rich, what else do we have going for us today?
So, well, you mentioned that Jensen's doing a tour to Europe. Also doing a tour to Europe is, of course, Tom Sosnoff and Anthony Batista. So if you want to get your free tickets for Friday the June 20th, I'm going to be there on stage with the lads. We're going to be doing live trading. And also you can have a beveragino or a glass of vino with the boys. And so the drinks are on me. Come along. And Ronnie will be there. Ronnie will give you a big hug.
Will I?
And we'll be able to entertain you for that Friday evening.
I'll come to the London one if you fly me out to the Milan one.
Yeah.
Also, when was that picture taken, Rich? About 15 years ago.
No, that was at the last Tasty event.
Oh,
so that was in November.
You've had it rough.
Right. So look at that. Producer Phil's all over it. He's already put the link in the bio. So let's go from that back to the NVIDIA chart. Let's have a look at the NVIDIA chart. Of course, it was up as much as 5% after hours. I'll tell you what, the only thing that worries me is there, and you can see it's done absolutely nothing since 2024. Isn't it incredible that that was the exact level that it got to back in June of 24. That 140 level is exactly where we are. The one thing that worries me that I wouldn't be diving in today, if you're a Chinese company, did you front run the tariffs by ordering a lot of chips in in Q1 for delivery?
You know what you did? I actually got just a pic for you, mate.
Go on, get the picture up.
Okay, guys, how do I get this up on my screen?
Oh, I'm excited about this. You've built this up now. This better be. Go. We're just teaching Ronnie how to zoom.
Okay, but anyhow, basically, is this up now? There we go. There we go. Finally. So NVIDIA revenue by country. So let me explain to you. So by Q3 2023, you can see the small green part of the chart. That's sales to Singapore, 0.5%. Q1 2025, that's 77.7%.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, is there a coincidence here that as the restrictions on China come, all of a sudden the sales to Singapore explode?
Right.
Senator, I'm Singaporean.
Senator. Yeah, brilliant. Senator, I'm Singaporean. Yes, but have you ever been to China? Good, right? Okay, so that's the only thing. But his guidance is technically weak for Q2 because the tariffs are still there. It's not like the curbs have come off.
Yeah, they're frozen.
Right.
They can't do business in China.
And also you're getting the Section 232 tariffs.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got to play on the playing field that you're on, right? On the football pitch. We're not always at Stamford Bridge. So therefore, The guidance is for 45. What they could do, you know, my P&L would have looked fantastic if it hadn't been for April 2nd. Still bloody happened.
Yeah.
You know?
But they're still doing very well despite this. Keep in mind, 2 years ago, like pre-ChatGPT, this is a company that did $26 billion in revenue. Now they're on track to do over 120 billion with, you know, over 100 billion with 70% margin.
All in all, final answer is this stock trades between 130 and 150. I'm a buyer at, well, I'm a seller of a put at 130, and I'm already short a call at 170, but I do not think that this is transformational quarter.
No,
it's reassuring.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that's a good range, 130, 150. I think we might, you know, push above 150, but not much higher than 170. Like you said, we're not going above that level. So yeah, Rich, you know what? You're actually right.
Oh, do you know what would be interesting? Selling a 150 straddle. We're gonna price that. Oh, it's hard to do because obviously the market's not open until 2:30. Tomorrow morning we're going to show you the 150 straddle, and I would imagine I might have put it on.
Can't wait.
In 2 months. Right, producer Phil he's really been hard at work. While we've all been trading NVIDIA, producer Phil has been taking names off charts. And we're about to go into a new section to give you some very exciting way to spend the next 2 minutes. Guess what chart this is? And I'll give you a little clue because it's day one. It's a commodity.
Tasty Live's godfather of options, Tom Sosnoff, is grabbing his passport and taking this show international. He'll be joined by IG's Rich McDonald in London and Milan, along with special guests at each stop for an evening of live trading. It's fun, challenging and moves as fast as the market. Doors open at 5, with trading starting at 6. Come early and have a pint or glass of vino with the boys. It's totally free, but space is limited. Register at tastylive.com/events. Options just got molto interessante.
Just trying to talk Ronnie into a double date.
Yeah, I told him that I'm out of the game now, so no double dates.
He says he won't be my wingman on a night out anymore. I'm saying
I'll happily be a wingman. Unlike Luke Moore, who offered to be a wingman for you and me, which we directly rejected because he's too handsome, so we'll just take all the attention away. But you won't have that problem with me, mate.
Right, one last look at that chart then. What was it? It's a bit of a tough one because it is on the spread betting platform, right? Therefore, it looks bigger than it would be on the CFD. So CFD would be $472. On the spread betting, it's $47,000. What is it, Ronnie?
Copper, but not any copper, high-grade copper.
The high-grade copper.
Only the best, my friend, the best for you.
Poppy has smashed it. Poppy in there first. Spike was right. Blue Elegy. Blue Elegy. Like it.
Welcome.
Also correct. Donny was the first one to hit high grade. Scarpa has the best answer. Unobtainium. And then Hamish already out there as well. We like it. Look at
Hamish.
all these new commenters coming out
Hamish,
of the woods.
that's our Scottish brother right there, Hamish.
Right, time for you to ring your bell, old boy.
Oh boy.
Let's get up there and let's see. On a particularly strong day for the FTSE,
It's already past 8,
they
mate.
can't open it till you ring it.
Oh,
The whole exchange is waiting for you, Ronnie.
London Stock
we
Exchange.
go.
Go ahead.
Right. There are some strong performances here, and this is not good because this is Rolls-Royce up 1.2% to 867. A reminder, that's our subscriber target for the week. So that's proven tricky. Right.
So please like and subscribe so producer Phil doesn't get fired.
We need to get those subscribers up, people. Elsewhere, we've got Glencore up 1.2%, up to 275. HSBC up 1.1. Barclays now 327. Wow.
And
that stock is unstoppable.
And also something that's interesting is Lloyd's is staying consistently around that 78 level. They've had a super
back yesterday,
strong,
didn't it?
Yeah, but they've had a very strong resistance level at the 74 level.
That is long gone. Burberry of course, Burberry would benefit from the expulsion of tariffs, which isn't going to happen, but people get excited about it today. You've got BHP up 1.3, Rios is up there as well, and Antofagasta benefiting from the high-grade copper.
Yeah, it's a...
Do you want to run through the losers, Ronnie? It's more your
Yes.
kind of area, isn't it?
Pretend like I didn't hear that.
Okay.
National Grid down 3.78%, quite a rough one. What do you think is the cause for that sort of downfall?
Well, let's check. You continue through those, and I'll see if I've got any.
Okay, Severn Trent down 3.45. Fresnillo down 1%. Bar, never heard of them. What did
For
they?
real? For real?
Yeah,
AJ Bar. Bar's Iron Brew, pal.
is that Iron Brew?
Aye.
Why didn't you say
Bar's
that?
Iron Brew.
Why didn't you say that? Of course. Well, that's outrageous that it's down because they produce the greatest drink in the world.
They should change their name, actually, shouldn't they?
Yeah, Marks & Spencer, obviously they've had they're down close to 1%. They've had quite a rough period. But I do think that Marks & Spencer has handled the whole cyber security breach thing very well. So I am positive on that one. BT Group down. What's that I see down?
Oh, it's Thursday. It'll be a dividend. I'm guessing those two are dividends.
What's that I see down there? Third from the bottom, Rich.
What, the stock that's up 10% in a week? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it could be. There's down like 18 basis points today. Absolutely plummeting.
I'm trying to change the. There we go. Oh, you're talking about Glencore, right? Yeah. Okay, right. Quick, Ronnie, run us through any of the new leaders there, and I'll just go through the dividends for the day.
Yeah, I think what we see today is the sort of common theme that seems to be across the winners today is that we have one, the banks, but secondly, the more sort of high spenders, high ticket options that are that have been quite affected by the recent tariffs. So luxury goods, Burberry, watches of Switzerland, they're doing well. The miners are doing quite well. So it's an interesting to see how people are actually believing that the tariffs are sort of gone forever. I don't know. Do you agree with that, Rich?
I do. It's.
You agree?
Well,
no more tariffs. They're all behind us. All is good. Trump said, "You know what, guys? It was just a prank."
Yeah, it was just to get people to the table, and when we're in actually the most important part of the negotiations, then yeah, we'll just forget it. There is a lot of, that's the FTSE 100 dividends today. If you are holding these stocks, you'll be happy because you'll be getting a nice payment coming through in the next couple of months. Those are Associated British Foods, which of course owns Pre-Marché, where Ronnie gets his shirts from. They are 1% ex-dividend. National Grid, 2.88%. Nice big lumpy dividend.
That is a nice chunk. Oh, that explains the drawback.
Exactly. And then also Severn Trent is 73 pence, which is 2.7%. And WPP is a 4% dividend today.
I'm very...
You don't like dividends, do you?
No, I love dividends. I think dividends is a great tool to give their shareholders money back. I was just going to complain about WPP. I'm not a big fan of them. I don't believe in a strong future outlook for them.
No.
You know, they've now consolidated with the second biggest player in the market. But at the same time, we have Meta, who's just investing billions in AI. Now you're going to have, you know, the sort of Llama and the Meta ads. They're going to write the hook for you. They're going to find the target audience for you, create your content for you. What's the need for an agency now?
You see some of the videos that can be done using AI.
Yeah.
And it's really tricky to see the need. I agree.
Check out what Rich is looking at 9 p.m. on a Friday night. The things that AI can do.
Well, that's when Sosnoff and Bat are just finishing on...
Eddie House.
Speaking of which, I had an interview with Dr. Jim yesterday.
Dr. J.
Dr. Jim Schultz, which we will be airing on potentially tomorrow. And he is brilliant. This is the guy that he was a professor. And he was a professor for 6 years. And then Sosnoff found him and brought him onto the TV channel. And now he gives all the sort of beginner's guides and all the live stuff. So really impressive guy.
Oh, so it's for beginners, so it's great that you'll be tuning in then. Perfect, happy to hear.
Yeah, I learned something yesterday. Right, WPP on the chart there. Here's what Ronnie's talking about. It's almost as if he's not first to the story. You've seen the stock come off from £11, sorry, £11 in the start of 2023 to £6 today, 6 pennies.
Yeah, I mean it touched at a 50% drop there down in April.
Would you still short it here then? You literally think this thing's not worth the office space?
It's not worth the spread that I'll pay to short this.
7 times PE.
Yeah, no wonder the dividend yield is 6.6% because the stock dropped. Look at that.
They really do agree with you there.
I mean, they watch the show, mate. They watch the show.
Let's have a look at what the analysts believe. The analysts, well, UBS are with you. UBS see down 30%.
Who's Conor O'Shea?
Conor O'Shea at Kepler,
mate,
is expecting something. He doesn't believe in AI by the looks of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, God, look at Citi even higher. Citi up at a £10.50 target.
Mate.
But he hasn't updated since December of last year. So maybe he's focused on other stocks.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Spending more time with his family.
Well, he should, because he won't have a job if he continues making recommendations like that.
I think that was what I inferred between the lines. Spending more time with your family. It's what you'll have to write on an email in a few weeks. Spending more. Now you've got a girlfriend.
Leave of absence. Not a girlfriend yet. Not a girlfriend yet.
Right, we're going to have a quick break and we'll be back to you with Fast Markets.
Welcome to the exciting world of options trading. If you're looking to add a new dimension to your trading strategy, you're in the right place. Options trading offers unique benefits that can elevate your investing game. With options, you can protect your portfolio against market downturns, essentially creating an insurance policy for your investments. Now, what sets us apart is our commitment to your success. We provide extensive educational content to help you understand options trading inside and out. And with our 24-hour servicing, support is always just a call away. But that's not all. Options also allow you to generate income from your existing positions. Strategies like covered calls let you profit even when your stocks aren't making big moves. Options also shine when the market isn't following a clear direction, whether prices are rising, falling, or staying flat. There's always an option strategy you can use to potentially benefit. Now, we offer two ways to trade options: listed options for US shares, ETFs and futures, and over-the-counter options through spread bets and CFDs. Both types give you the ability to take various market positions. So, ready to explore the potential of options trading? Well, open an account today and take your first steps into this dynamic market. Remember, while options trading can be rewarding, it comes with risks. Always trade within your means and never risk more than you can afford to lose.
Tasty Live's godfather of options, Tom Sosnoff, is grabbing his passport and taking this show international. He'll be joined by IG's Rich McDonald in London and Milan, along with special guests at each stop for an evening of live trading. It's fun, challenging and moves as fast as the market. Doors open at 5, with trading starting at 6. Come early and have a pint or glass of vino with the boys. It's totally free, but space is limited. Register at tastylive.com/events. Options just got molto interessante.
If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Watch Trade Live with IG weekdays from 7:30 a.m. on our brand new YouTube channel at Trade Live with IG.
As well as the live show on our new YouTube, you will find our full beginner's course to trading options, daily YouTube shorts of all the action that happens after the show is finished, and Trade of the Week and Psychology of Markets.
And don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive trading content.
Welcome back to Fast Markets. So we had a few other sets of results last night, not just the mighty NVIDIA. We'll look again at NVIDIA in a second. But first of all, we had Salesforce, Rondog.
We did indeed. Yeah, Salesforce had a really, really good quarter, in my opinion. Revenue up 7.6%, up to 9.83 billion United States dollars. Diluted EPS up to $1.59 versus $1.56 prior. And they've also announced the acquisition of Informatica for $8 billion, which is a massive acquisition.
Big, yeah.
The biggest acquisition they've made since Slack. So very, very interesting. So I got my ChatGPT summary here. So subscription and support revenue up. Operating margins 19.8%, Non-GAAP 32.3%. Cash flow is up 4%, 6.5 billion. Shareholder return is up. AI and data cloud annual recurring revenue up 1 billion. Data cloud usage 22 trillion records ingested. That's insane. The kind of data that they have and what they can do with that.
What are you going to do with the stock?
I mean,
let's have a look at the graph here.
For me, Salesforce is a buy and hold.
Look at that.
How long is this chart? What's the?
So that takes us back to January. So it's basically a year to date. I am bullish on them. They spiked up on the numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know where they finished at 1 o'clock in the morning, but they were up about 2% last time I looked, having been up as much as 4%. But yeah, it's just a great company, isn't it?
Yeah, and their product is so sticky. Mm-hmm. Like we use Salesforce here at IG, and it's so embedded in our systems. Like we have people employed, like Salesforce engineers, who their sole purpose is just to like assist with the Salesforce.
Right. When
you have so much time, money, and processes invested in this, you're not gonna switch off to the next CRM system that comes around, even if it's better.
Yeah.
So a company like Salesforce, I think it's strong business, strong positioning in AI, very good. I'm, simple man, buy and hold in the ISA. Sophisticated hedge fund trader, city banker like Richard. What's your trade on this?
I'm laughing at Eric Jones in the comments asking, does anybody use Thinkorswim here in addition to IG? Yeah, does anyone use Hargreaves Lansdown? I must admit my ISA is still with them, and I hate it because every time I go to trade it costs me 150 quid in FX charges.
Oh,
it annoys me so much.
Yeah, I was looking at HL for like some diversify some mutual funds, whatnot. Yeah. And it was just such a bad website. I just had no interest.
No, it's the charts that really annoy me. But Eric Jones, we'll let you away with it. Seeing as Sosnoff and Scott Sheridan created it and built it, it was like their pilot project before they went on to build Tasty and build a proper platform. But yeah, still well used across the US. Right, let's move on to Abercrombie. So Abercrombie and Fitch, we talked about on the show yesterday.
Thank you very much for sharing your trading strategy for Salesforce.
Selling a put. I don't.
Monkey Man, Salesforce is like SAP. Yes, they're both CRM systems, but and they're both used in a similar sense.
Yeah, and its ticker is literally a CRM, which is pretty. I love the American tickers.
God bless.
Right, so let's go on to Abercrombie. Here it is. Abercrombie surges after Q1 results beat, up 26% pre-market. It didn't finish up quite as much as that, finished at 88. But, really impressive numbers there. They topped estimates, and Q1 net sales of 1.1 billion. That was above EPS of 159. And expects net sales growth of between 3 and 6%, so slightly taking the top end higher. But when I looked at Abercrombie yesterday and was literally speechless at how low the stock was, because last time I looked at it was $100, and that was in the middle of the tariff mess, and it was 73 yesterday, and Abercrombie's better than that.
Yeah, I think Abercrombie is a brilliant company. I just sent producer Phil a video that I watched by Wall Street Journal that was showing the turnaround of Abercrombie and Fitch and the sit down with the CEO. And after watching that video, it really convinced me that this is a great company, and I think they're doing really well in. It's hard with fashion companies, right? Because it's so much trends and stuff that you have to stay on top of. But they managed, which they didn't, which was their downfall. They didn't stay on top of the trends, even if they're leading them beforehand.
Yeah.
Then they missed them, but now they've come back and they've sort of repositioned the brand. So anyone interested in learning more about Abercrombie, Just Google Abercrombie VSJ on YouTube and you'll have a great video there.
Nice.
After you're done watching Trade Live with IG and liked and subscribe, of course.
Right, let's update you on smarter web companies. So we had a really interesting move on it yesterday. It certainly is a roller coaster here. We had the obviously the big move up from when Andrew was on the show, which was about here, back at 31 pence. You can see we had the grand royal march up to 100. I think I warned you at 80 pence, it looked slightly overdone in the short term. I warned you at 90 pence, it looked overdone. And then at 100, it was literally going to have the most perfect 2 months going forward to warrant that share price. However, yesterday it dropped down to as low as 68 pence. It was down 30% at one point yesterday before recovering to 90. So, yeah, how do you describe those kind of moves?
I mean, it's just
it's typical small cap, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's really we got a lot of clients obviously who trades a lot of these companies, and it's I'm struggling to make sense of them, right? When you have these sort of big companies, you can look at macro trends and whatnot, but these companies, it's just rumors. No,
there's no rumors. It's just that it's whether you believe in the strategy or not. So
do you?
Well, yeah, we outlined it. That's why we had the CEO on. So, but it takes time to build these things up, and what you can't control is the FOMO price, right? And the FOMO action was from 70p to £1, because the valuation, you can't put all the valuation into today's price. People tried it with NVIDIA a year ago and the stock's flatlined.
Yeah.
Right? And you've made absolutely no money if you bought NVIDIA a year ago. If you're buying this at £1, then you're going to have to wait for 3 months for the strategy to go absolutely perfectly until it warrants that kind of share price. So, these things are...
I mean, the strategy that they're implementing, it's catching on, it's becoming more and more trendy, getting exposure to crypto through, a regular share. You can hold it in your ISA.
What do you think of the whole, because Trump's doing it now, GameStop's announced yesterday that it was, where we go, here we go, GameStop buys Bitcoin worth $500 million. What do you think of this?
I don't know. I think GameStop is, they're coming from a place of desperation here, trying to do anything.
Do you think MicroStrategy is desperate?
No, because this is MicroStrategy are actually developed, that's their strategy. They've been doing this for a long time. Strategy has a strategy.
Well, they've been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah, but these guys are just jumping on the trend now. What are you, selling games, or are you buying crypto? Or they're just trying to get back into this meme stock
it doesn't
frenzy.
make any money selling games, so it's had to reinvent itself.
Yeah, they just want to get back to this sort of meme stock frenzy. They're trying to get, the consumers, they see, oh, this seems to be working. Instead of actually improving their underlying business, they're
that's
jumping
what
on
these
the trend.
stocks are, right? These stocks, you have to have a community believing in it to give you the premium to NAV, which allows you to sell stock, which allows you to buy and improve the NAV.
Okay, you like strategy.
But yeah, it's fantastic. Genius.
Would you buy GameStop?
I have bought GameStop.
Guys, get me out of here. This is the guy we hired to educate the people.
But these things are pure punts on the continued too much money out there, right? Until he puts interest rates up and until he stops this speculation and speculative aspect, right? The S&P is at 6,000. There is too much money out there. And this is where you see it finding a home. So suddenly if a GameStop, suddenly tries to reinvent itself as the next MicroStrategy, if they do it correctly, then why not?
Yeah, but that's their core business then.
But what is a core business? It doesn't make money. It's a long time since this stock was valued on selling games.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's actually true. What does the smart web company do anything else beyond holding?
It does. It's got a web business, but it's worth about £100,000.
Oh, great. And what's the...
You're missing the appetite for Bitcoin treasury companies here.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm telling you that I absolutely agree with that. There's an appetite for it. That's why we have companies like this, games of whatnot popping up. Now, my question to you is: you had the CEO on. You guys are best pals now. I'm been replaced. Thanks. Just moved on like that. What's their strategy? Are they doing convertible debt like strategy? I don't think they can raise at 0% interest like strategy.
You can't on 100 million market cap. You can only do equity placings.
Only equity placings.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
until you're big enough to do a convert.
Right.
But Trump just did a convert. So do you think that one works?
Yeah, I mean, the guy can do whatever he wants. He's untouchable. I mean, Jimmy Carter had to sell his peanut farm. This guy is dropping meme coins.
So are you long Trump media then?
No comment.
Is that in the demo account?
I don't touch that. I don't touch that. I'm long. What was the name of Iron Bruce?
AG bar.
AG bar. That's the only thing I'm holding. 100% AG bar. And then we got some SSE in there for diversification. And also, side note, Aberdeen won the Scottish Cup. Up the Reds, Pittodrie Stadium.
So yeah, look, I say this with in jest, right? Because it seems that suddenly every company is announcing that they're just going to buy Bitcoin, put it on the balance sheet, and they expect some kind of premium. Trump media is down, what, 15%, I think, from the highs. GameStop dropped 20% from the highs yesterday. And is it desperation? As Ronnie says, let's have today's poll on what do you think of this Bitcoin treasury theme at the moment?
And yeah, please.
Is it desperation by the likes of GameStop and Trump media? Is it an investing opportunity, or is it the best thing that's ever been invented?
Since sliced bread.
Since sliced bread.
Very good question. And while
is it a long-term investment?
Yeah, and while we all digest into that, just to answer our Sexena, your question, what's the difference trading these companies versus a Bitcoin ETF? There's oftentimes restrictions on ISAs, for example, that you can't hold any Bitcoin ETFs, etc., on an ISA, but you can hold these companies.
Yeah.
So that's a way for you to get exposure in Bitcoin without having a professional trader classification or trading an ETF that's on your share dealing and being a tax applicable.
Yeah. And also, so the theory behind it, R6N, is that if you buy a Bitcoin ETF, you are, $1 for $1. You put $1 in ETF, and that ETF provider holds the Bitcoin. These companies trade at a premium because in theory, they dilute the shares by, say, 10% to raise funds to then buy Bitcoin, which they manage to increase their net assets by about 40%. Right? So those numbers, of course, dependent on where the premium is. But if Smarter Web Company did a stock, an equity raise at 90 pence at the moment, then that would be like a 15 times leverage over their NAV. So if you dilute yourself by 10% on a 15 times multiple, the uplift in NAV is insane.
Yeah, if you want to, be a responsible investor and manage your risk, I'm talking about leverage crypto trades and strategy, just all long into that, mate. Obviously joking.
Yeah, ignore that.
What I'm saying here is there's extreme risk involved in trading these.
Absolutely.
if my sarcasm wasn't clear, there's extreme risk involved in
You
this.
definitely do not trade these on leverage.
Yeah.
100% not trade these on leverage. But it is the theory behind it is different from the Bitcoin ETFs. A MicroStrategy has done very well from it. But whether you've got the expertise of Michael Saylor in Trump Media or in a GameStop, that's a whole different
Have
story.
you seen his Twitter feed? Michael Saylor's Twitter feed. It's just a bunch of AI propaganda generated pics because he can't promote his own stock, but he can promote Bitcoin. So he's doing like a bunch of like AI generated content that he's posting up on his Twitter to promote the underlying holding.
Yeah, very good.
Nothing to see here, people. Let's move on.
Right, if we take one last look at the futures, then we've got the S&P 500, 1.6%. If you believe that Trump is just going to roll over and accept a small court's decision on his tariffs, then by all means go ahead and buy this. With the Nasdaq up 2%, then yeah, I would imagine this will be a very interesting afternoon, because you'll see how many people are caught underweight or caught short. And with that, you were away in a different world, weren't you? You're thinking about your new girlfriend.
Thank you very much for today. I've had a great time being on here, Rich. Now you're actually going to listen to someone who actually knows what they're talking about. The great Matt Arbor. Please like and subscribe. Producer Phil gets paid per like, so...
Good stuff. Right, we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next.
If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Watch Trade Live with IG weekdays from 7:30 a.m. on our brand new YouTube channel at Trade Live with IG.
As well as the live show on our new YouTube, you will find our full beginner's course to trading options, daily YouTube shorts of all the action that happens after the show is finished, and Trade of the Week and Psychology of Markets.
And don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive trading content.
Welcome back, everybody. So live from the trade desk brings us in the mighty Matt Arbour today.
Morning, Rich. How are you?
Well, I am. It's amazing the difference from last time we chatted,
Quite.
which was on April the must have been 14th, I guess.
I think we were in the teeth.
Oh, it was the
we were in
Monday.
the teeth of things on the Monday. Yeah.
That's right. Just as the market. I think last time, well, as Ange was on holiday, as she is again, then we had Matt come in at we must have been 4,830, I reckon. We're now 1,100 points higher.
I'd have said the move was even higher. It's
it's 25% higher.
It's over 25% higher. Looking at the names, like I see this morning, NVIDIA is unchanged on the year. Again, I think our conversation then was about buying NVIDIA at less than $100.
Yeah. It was. Geez.
Which on the day you wouldn't have done, but the question was, in hindsight, is everyone going to look back and say this was the buying opportunity of a lifetime? And events have perhaps proven that to be correct, but in a strange, convoluted way, whereby tariffs are not tariffs, and perhaps are just a work of fiction. The courts would suggest, this whole dance over the past month has just been a route to nothing.
Had you heard of this court before?
I hadn't heard of this court before, no. And I think it's a bit odd. You look at the in the UK with Brexit, with the campaigners taking the government to court. This was front and centre. Everyone knew this was going on. Did anyone know this was happening in the US?
It literally come out of nowhere. Like I have to check what time it actually came out, because.
When I looked this morning, it looked like about half 11 in the evening, looking at the pop on the NAS last night. But it's one of these interesting things, because start of the week, the market, like volatility on US indices, the markets was pricing zero risk. We were back down, tending to sort of low double figures, sort of 12-13% S&P vol, which we haven't seen in weeks and weeks, which is a consequence of the sustained rally we've been seeing, but sort of the market just sort of pricing in no adverse effects.
And the bond melee of last week's been forgotten about.
And yet it's still there lingering in the background. I think as I looked this morning, again, we're seeing different moves in FX, different moves in bonds to equities. Equities take everything trade related as being good news, whereas you're looking at the dollar, looking at the bonds, are still the concerns about the big beautiful.
Yeah, there we go. The big beautiful bill.
Yeah, concerns about the big beautiful.
So 502 on the 30-year. We've actually ticked back up in the last 24 hours, because we were at 495 yesterday. So news of tariffs coming off and boosting the economy seems to have been taken with a higher 30-year. I would have thought it was higher on the short term, but
this is the interesting thing. I suppose it always comes back to the sort of the intellectual view of investors and investors, that always who are the smart guys in the room. It's not the guys on the equity market. It's a lot of froth on the equity markets. There's less so on the bond markets, and that's perhaps where we should be watching. And I think, it's almost that every piece of good news has been jumped on by equity traders. People are desperate to think that the tariffs, this is a story that goes away. There's nothing coming there, and spending boost, as Trump is proposing, is naturally on the surface of things good for equities, good for US companies, but. Bond markets, the stagflation problem, where how do we drive the growth? You're just throwing money in there, and what's actually growing. So,
what jumps out at you as the way to navigate this in? Which trade springs to mind? or do you just get the rest down and you hide in the woods?
I wonder now, with what we've seen, is whether one, again, as we talked last time we were on about the regrets, everyone who sat there for a long time, you've been in the US for however long with your sort of pension type money, long-term money, and you watch the bull market of the past year, and you think, there were times where you thought, do you take some money off the table? We're almost back to those kind of levels. It's a what do you think? Is it prudent to take money off the table here on positions rather than speculative? It's that sort of take money off the table, and it's very difficult because of what we've seen with the persistent, equities keep on outperforming and keep on bouncing. But this feels a sort of a bit different, like we've got a bit too euphoric to me on the US.
See, do you know what it reminds me of? Back all those years ago in 2007, we had a few profit warnings that preceded the financial crisis, and we had a few people, shouting.
2000, yeah.
Let's just see if I can zoom in on this here. So 07 was a strange year. I made my first move into a hedge fund in April and thought, that's it, I've made it. My life's set. All these hundreds of millions are going to come fleeing to me now.
And then realised your PB was Bear Stearns, no?
Yeah. Well, I think we did have at one point. We even cut off Goldman's. Okay. The only PB that we could keep, and that's Prime Broker, was Credit Suisse and Deutsche. Everything else was too risky.
Everything else was too risky. Credit Suisse known for their tight controls, and Deutsche, who were with the other side of every bad trade in 2008 by all accounts.
Quite incredible that was the two the roses of the day. But you can see here, and this is the move I'm talking about, right? We dropped from 1,530 down to 1,370 in August 07. That's when we had the first.
All our younger viewers are thinking, what's this market he's talking about? Yeah. 1,500. It says S&P. It's not the S&P, surely.
Could never have been that low. How much of a 10 for 1 did it do? Or 1 for 10? So so that's what test your maths here, Matt. 1,530 down to 1,300. So it lost 160 points. So good.
10%.
10, yeah. And then regained it again within 2 months. And it just reminds me the writing was on the wall. Analysts were starting to flag concerns. Michael Berry, people like that were putting on these huge bets, and stocks absolutely refused to budge. And we made a new high on the 1st of October, or within October. And then,
But which was, of course, in response to quite aggressive rate cutting. That's when we saw rates start to tumble. The central banks, surprise cuts, half-point surprise moves, all that happening through into the teeth of the fight. The bank failures and the market bouncing, but without appreciating the underlying structural issues, which we're not. There's not. I suppose the same subprime underlying or whatever at that level underlying the US. This is a growth issue as much as anything,
or debt.
Well, debt, yes. US at the national level. I'm not sure. I don't know in that housing market on Main Street that leverage is where it was then, which was the main problem affecting Main Street.
Yeah.
But it's it's an interesting one that the US with the kind of jobs miracle that jobs keep on being created, and we keep on getting this support at the bottom end.
Chart off, thanks guys.
Whether that can continue to underpin growth in the States going forward, it's the markets are flagging signals. Is basically what I'm saying, and it's euphoria in equities is perhaps too much.
Because if we, if Trump's ability to stick tariffs on is taken away, then your potential for inflation, the whole economy reinflates, doesn't it?
Well, no, tariffs are inflationary. Prices were going to go up.
The companies will just put them up anyway.
Well, it's interesting. So it's the whether you're getting inflation for people, extra money in their pocket spending money, or whether you're getting inflation from sort of extrinsic inflation, which is due to tariffs.
Yeah.
So threat on tariffs, inflationary. Certainly, JP's concern. was that prices are just going to be higher. That's affecting people without any underlying cause of why prices should be going higher. That's so that kind of concern there. The big beautiful filtering through, putting more money into people's pockets, kind of things. Of course, that's being caveated now with Trump is a political chameleon. He's open to embracing Joe Biden's ideas on taxing rich people, isn't he? That he's introducing into the conversation, floating out what levels it might be acceptable to charge a higher tax band. Of course, not higher tax bands as those in the UK understand them.
Yeah.
Might charge people 40% if they.
Yeah, a wild number.
A crazy number like 40%. But he's trying to think. But again, is that within the US economy a good move? It's difficult to see. He's getting himself in a difficult situation.
So if people are watching and they're thinking, right, maybe I take a little bit, off my American stocks that I had the chance to before, regretted it. Where does the money go?
Well, where does the money go?
It's hard at this point to, we've seen money flow into Europe. It feels like the German trade might be done.
Well, yeah, everyone's still. I scratch my head looking at the DAX every day as to, how this has performed so well on the back of, again, this is a central bank money coming in, underpinning the DAX above everything. Again, like structural problems in Germany. I think it's one of these. Always, it's quite good when in such a short period of time you have seen bad things happen, and you might have done nothing. Paralysis, whatever. You've sat there, looked at it. I suppose it's often the case with pension money. You only really look. You look on the way up, and then at some point in the seat before you think, "Oh God, what's going on? What does this actually look like?" But when you've looked there and you perhaps whatever you did in the time, you've had a month, you've seen what can happen and how quickly things can move. It is a good time to reassess what you're carrying in your portfolio, especially when you see how the different names are reacting and what's more sensitive there. Mm-hmm. I think as we talked about at the time, it's been kind of a theme. I think it's on the sharp moves, everything's being affected. It's been broad based, and there were definite value trades in there. Of course, hindsight shows that any trade made you money at the time, but there were stocks that obviously weren't tariff affected that were being dragged lower by the tariffs. Of course, if you had bought a tariff affected stock, you did even better. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. But in these kind of moves, it's what you want in your portfolio. What you see, like in your defensive mix of, how much tech do you want to carry? Do you still want to carry as much tech? Okay, it's performed, but what are the effects? What are your winners, and what do you really want in there? And it's crystallised. You've looked. There's no one can say they sleepwalk into a 20% move now because we've just seen one. Yeah.
And Kukumba on the chat saying, what are your thoughts on QQQ? So, we talked about American stocks, but specifically the NASDAQ.
Well, yeah, and again, I don't know where you reside, Kukumba, but trading QQQ, if you're in the UK, you're probably better off trading it, I don't know, as the NAS future. You don't have to trade the daily, trade it as the future if you want to avoid the funding, because you're getting 24-hour access straight through. QQQ exists there for funds who can't hold futures, and you need to hold it. If you need to hold these things in your ISA, perhaps you need to put it as a QQQ. But if you're there to trade, you're better off doing it as the NAS future rather than,
that's good knowledge.
Trading it as the Qs or the Spider or any of those US trackers.
Great.
And generally the concern would be, funding, trade it's the future, avoid the funding, and you're rolling it over, but the funding's built in. So that's right.
So we are 300, maybe 400 points away from all-time highs.
Yeah.
2%.
Yeah, that the NAS probably trends higher over towards the end of the week. I kind of feel that all Musk stories are good stories, it seems. So Musk coming back to Tesla, that we perhaps see a little bounce further on Tesla when that opens. that generally the post results move on an NVIDIA, that tends to track higher throughout the session. So just those bigger names dragging things higher. I noticed that sort of the main beneficiary last night in all sessions was Apple on this tariff news.
Right.
That seemed to move sort of disproportionately, a decent bounce on Apple, with tariffs, perhaps not affecting.
You see, the people's belief. It's two things. Either people believe that Trump has absolutely no power and he's not going to find a way around this, which of course he will, or everybody's caught short and this is the derivative effect.
Everyone's not caught short, are they? We look at the market. The people are not short. The shorts are not there in numbers anymore.
Right.
The moves we've seen. Yeah.
Underweight.
It's algorithms trading on this first mover gets the advantage. If you see the news, you trade, and then there's a follow through. That tends to be the thing. That's why we see these very quick, very sharp moves. That everyone's program is geared up to see any relaxation on tariffs is up, imposition on tariffs is a market down, and that's kind of why we see more whipsaw now, I suspect. But yes, you distill it there, that the concept that Trump is going to uphold a judge's decision, or perhaps it's an easy way out for him. He's thrown these grenades, and actually no one's come to the table. No one blinked, apart from perhaps the UK. 10%, does that look like a good deal now? Good Lord. The strange dance with Europe over the weekend, where a phone call from von der Leyen. Yeah. I've never thought that von der Leyen is a very persuasive speaker. Obviously, she said wonderful things to Trump, but to get another 90-day relaxation, it's surely increasingly the market has to disbelieve everything that is being said. But that doesn't appear to be the case. It is kind of odd.
So I've just got up the S&P 500 for tomorrow expiry. So the weekly is on tomorrow. Is there anything here that jumps out to you? I guess it's hard. It's only
we saw the opportunity. I suppose the opportunities here as I said at the start of the week, the vols on Tuesday were significantly lower, and those have jumped up overnight. On the back of the news, but.
So vol's gone higher.
Vol's gone higher into this, from where we were at the start of the week. Given it was quite it was sort of a priced in as a fairly quiet week. NVIDIA aside, there was no real big numbers.
Right.
And we were trending back to those kind of vol levels that we were seeing before end of March, start of April. As I say, low teens. It was back up into the 20s again. So the market's played a bit of catch up here.
It's look, we never go down on Fridays, not in summer. So
I've not heard that for a long time. Markets go up on Fridays. Used to be the old adage.
It does feel like, isn't it? Maybe work from home's different because you have a few drinks on Wednesday night rather than Thursday. But certainly in back in the days of Matt and I's heyday, then you would come in on a Friday morning and most of my P&L was made on Fridays, I think.
Markets, it was something that you said in jest often. Markets go up on Fridays, and markets went up on Fridays.
Inevitable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is there anything if we respected that and there's no flip back today and tomorrow, we've got PCE tomorrow, so maybe that takes out of it. But I'm thinking, selling that 59.25-ish. To take in 11, is there anything I can use to protect myself on the upside? Because I'm short a lot of calls on the upside for July, September, October, December.
Selling call, not the sort of the historically good trade on the
it hasn't worked
US
previously, but
and with premium skew. Look, I suppose it's if you're selling the near-term options, I always think it's often better to be reactionary rather than to sit there. It's easy. Start the day, look at the numbers and see what's there.
Yeah.
Waiting for moves to start and then reacting. It's that, you know, are we going to see the 230 pop as, you know, all this news has happened before most of the market is really accessing things. That move, as we've seen throughout this, that 230 move has been quite a good move, or substantial either way, often going with the trend overnight as people rush to catch up, and then you're looking to do your trading.
I think I might do the 60-25, 60-75 in a 1x2. Crazy?
You know, everyone, no trades are crazy at the outset, are they?
Yeah. Nice. Right.
Trade's good.
Matt, thank you very much for that. It's coming up to when we see those pre-markets in the all sessions. So join us again in 3 minutes. You'll have live all sessions open with NVIDIA. First look at where they're trading. Thank you, sir.
Cheers.
Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing.
So today we're on set filming our latest ad campaign for IG Invest. IG Invest is the latest innovation from IG. It's aimed at those who are interested in investing or maybe have a bit of knowledge but want to become more experienced. And what we've done is created a really beautiful, easy to use app, and now we've got to publicise it, and that's what we're doing today and trying to capture. So we worked on this ad campaign with Otherway, who are our creative agency. And what we really wanted to do is think about breaking down the barriers to investing. And so we wanted to think of an idea that was playful, fun, but also inspired empowerment.
So essentially, look, a lot of financial advertising can be quite dry, a little bit kind of wallpapery. And I think the idea was just to create something that was really eye-catching and kind of use that distinctive IG red, but put it in this really interesting metaphorical space where investors felt really kind of calm and kind of very effortless in what they're doing.
So my work is colorful, it's poppy, it's quite surreal, and I think this is one of the projects that is a perfect match. It's really nice to have a company that's very brave in their approach, and I think as a creative, as a potential target audience of the whole thing, I think it's going to work very well.
There were too many people to name who've worked on this project. You know, at IG, it's really important that we move at pace whilst delivering really high quality work. So we've had to have the best brains in the business on this one, and we really hope that you like the result.
It's been a real pleasure working with IG. I think ultimately as a brand, they're really keen to push things and kind of take the financial kind of advertising space somewhere slightly more interesting. So it's been a real joy for us to work with them and help them kind of get there on their journey.
Tasty Live's godfather of options, Tom Sosnoff, is grabbing his passport and taking this show international. He'll be joined by IG's Rich McDonald in London and Milan, along with special guests at each stop for an evening of live trading. It's fun, challenging, and moves as fast as the market. Doors open at 5, with trading starting at 6. Come early and have a pint or glass of vino with the boys. It's totally free, but space is limited. Register at tastylive.com/events. Options just got molto interessante.
So here we are, 1 minute to go till the all sessions, and welcome, Jolie.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
At last, this is our first time that we've actually managed to get on air together since you arrived in from Chicago. How's it all going?
Great. You know, still loving London. The allergies are a little crazy,
yeah.
but you know, you can't have it all. So.
I was in the doctor's a couple of days ago, and the poor lady had an asthma attack. So I'm sitting there. I had to go and get her water.
The doctor?
Yeah, the doctor had an asthma attack.
Oof.
Oh dear. Go on the NHS. So good. Right, we've got about 15 seconds there. If you want to grab that bell, we're going to ring the opening bell for the New York Stock Exchange and the opening bell. So yeah, so if lift that high above your, there we go. Yes, brilliant. And we get straight into seeing NVIDIA is kicking on, slightly higher than where it closed yesterday, up 5.4%. Great numbers.
Great numbers.
But what is that second place there, Jolie? Music to my ears.
Nike swish, up 3.71%.
Great. And then what else are we seeing there?
Broadcom as well. In that third slot, looks like it is up 3.6%.
So these stocks really taking this tariff news as if it's going to hold, as if Trump's just going to roll over and say, "Oh yeah, sorry, Court of International Trade, you're completely right. I was wrong."
Yeah.
So an opportunity to get out of those stocks if you were regretting being in Nike when it was $53.
Right.
We're also seeing Apple at 207, up 3.6%. American Airlines?
American Airlines, yeah, that's up as well. That's at 2.89%.
Yeah. Do you feel when you're meeting people in London that are not American, does it always come up in conversation?
Tariffs, Trump, definitely. Tariffs, secondary, but yeah, Trump especially. But it is common. It's, definitely had a massive ripple effect in the market. We're still seeing it today. So definitely relevant conversation topic.
So I wonder if that American Airlines is just from the fact that, people are scared to go to America, which is insane.
Yeah.
Right? As in, insane that they're being made to feel like that. It's not an insane feeling because to start with, there was stories of people being held up at customs and.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe their point of thought is that, hey, if I actually go to America, then I don't have to pay the tariff and I can get my goods and come back. I don't know.
It would possibly.
Who knows?
We're seeing Salesforce. That was the other set of numbers last night. It's only up 2%. It was up as much as 4% on those numbers. So. Yeah, not slightly as good. Palantir, is that new all-time highs?
Palantir is up 2.18.
It's not quite all-time highs. No, it got up to 132. So I can't keep up with that one. But Tesla taking the news well that Elon is done with Trump. He's done with the White House and he's back to business.
Yeah, Tesla is up as well, around 3% this morning.
Or $10 as the guys talk about, don't they?
Yep.
Right, and then we've got on the downside, what are we seeing? We are not seeing much. The Treasury bond down yet again. I find that one a bit difficult to understand how how yields have gone higher on the tariffs coming on. Well, this question around tariffs.
Yeah.
When the tariffs were inflationary.
Yeah.
I don't get why yields have gone higher.
I think, maybe the American people have a sentiment that they're going to capture some of that money from. Yeah.
Less recessionary maybe, but anyway.
Yeah.
And then, you can see some stocks that aren't really choosing. Then just on the other side of things, the crazy tier 2 world, we're seeing JD.com, of course, the China names. Look at those move.
Pretty impressive.
What jumps out at you there, Jolie?
Reddit, that's kind of outstanding from the rest of that list, right? Up 3.8.
Good old Upstart, that was down in the high 30s at one point, now approaching $50 again. And then Beyond Meat, I don't know why I've got that in there.
Well, I talked about Beyond Meat with Angeline last week, and it was also down. So crazy to see it's kind of free falling right now. Has not hit a resistance level, looks like.
Possibly one of the worst investments from IPO. Don't say you've got it, have you?
Oh, no, I don't. No. I just feel bad because I love meat alternatives.
But that's a sort of good lesson for people, isn't it? That there's there's liking, being a fan of a subject, and then there's having it as an investment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'd being the same, right? Anybody who's invested in the weed ETF has been sorely disappointed. You might have to go and have a smoke to get over it. And right, so that's us. Yeah, the big moves of the day. I'm going to take a back seat now because producer Phil is coming in to chat to you about the platform.
The platform. Yep. Let's talk some
being the
options and
expert.
futures. Yep.
Good stuff. Right, we'll see you. Phil and I will do a quick Ferrari pit stop, and he'll be back in this seat shortly.
Welcome to the exciting world of options trading. If you're looking to add a new dimension to your trading strategy, you're in the right place. Options trading offers unique benefits that can elevate your investing game. With options, you can protect your portfolio against market downturns, essentially creating an insurance policy for your investments. Now, what sets us apart is our commitment to your success. We provide extensive educational content to help you understand options trading inside and out. And with our 24-hour servicing, support is always just a call away. But that's not all. Options also allow you to generate income from your existing positions. Strategies like covered calls let you profit even when your stocks aren't making big moves. Options also shine when the market isn't following a clear direction, whether prices are rising, falling, or staying flat. There's always an option strategy you can use to potentially benefit. Now, we offer two ways to trade options: listed options for US shares, ETFs and futures, and over-the-counter options through spread bets and CFDs. Both types give you the ability to take various market positions. So, ready to explore the potential of options trading? Well, open an account today and take your first steps into this dynamic market. Remember, while options trading can be rewarding, it comes with risks. Always trade within your means and never risk more than you can afford to lose.
Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing.
So today we're on set filming our latest ad campaign for IG Invest. IG Invest is the latest innovation from IG. It's aimed at those who are interested in investing or maybe have a bit of knowledge but want to become more experienced. And what we've done is created a really beautiful, easy to use app, and now we've got to publicise it, and that's what we're doing today and trying to capture. So we worked on this ad campaign with Otherway, who are our creative agency. And what we really wanted to do is think about breaking down the barriers to investing. And so we wanted to think of an idea that was playful, fun, but also inspired empowerment.
So essentially, a lot of financial advertising can be quite dry, a little bit kind of wallpapery. And I think the idea was just to create something that was really eye-catching and kind of use that distinctive IG red, but put it in this really interesting metaphorical space where investors felt really kind of calm and kind of very effortless in what they're doing.
So my work is colorful, it's poppy, it's quite surreal, and I think this is one of the projects that is a perfect match. It's really nice to have a company that's very brave in their approach, and I think as a creative, as a potential target audience of the whole thing, I think it's going to work very well.
There were too many people to name who've worked on this project. You know, at IG, it's really important that we move at pace whilst delivering really high quality work. So we've had to have the best brains in the business on this one, and we really hope that you like the result.
It's been a real pleasure working with IG. I think ultimately as a brand, they're really keen to push things and kind of take the financial kind of advertising space somewhere slightly more interesting. So it's been a real joy for us to work with them and help them kind of get there on their journey.
Tasty Live's godfather of options, Tom Sosnoff, is grabbing his passport and taking this show international. He'll be joined by IG's Rich McDonald in London and Milan, along with special guests at each stop for an evening of live trading. It's fun, challenging and moves as fast as the market. Doors open at 5, with trading starting at 6. Come early and have a pint or glass of vino with the boys. It's totally free, but space is limited. Register at tastylive.com/events. Options just got molto interessante.
Hello everybody. Yes, I'm back. Jolie. Hello, Jolie.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
Very good, yes. We've only met each other twice, I think.
Yes.
And now we're on TV together.
There we go.
This is IG. This is what we do for the people. This is what happens when Angeline leaves us.
So sad.
So yeah, I am going to grill you a little bit about the Tasty platform. I've got questions, and I generally do not know much about the Tasty platform, admittedly. I'm an IG hot prop.
Well, there's the door.
There is the door, and it is a green door. So I want to learn a bit more myself.
Okay.
And if anyone else has got any questions about the Tasty platform, this is the right time to do it. I've got questions, but I will run out of questions, naturally. So if you have got questions about the Tasty platform and you want to know more, Jolie is the expert, and that's why we've dragged her on, and that's why we're doing this. Yeah. So, first question up. We're going to start nice and easy. When did you join Tasty?
I joined Tasty December of 2022.
Okay.
So it's been nearly 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since I've been Tasty IG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of basically led you in to going into Tasty? So what was your kind of background before?
I actually have this is a good question. I have a really unique story.
Is it a long story?
Like 3 minutes max.
Give me a minute.
Okay, so I was an actor, and then I I did like theater and commercials and stuff, and then I was like, ooh, I want to make money. So all my friends in theater worked at events, and then the pandemic happened, and there were no events, so I applied for every single sales job because I'm an actor, I can talk, and the only people that would hire me was a teeny tiny futures brokerage to sell futures brokerage accounts. So that's what got my door into trading, and then I left, went someplace else, got my licenses, and then found Tasty Trade, and it's like was the most artistic financial institution I've ever worked at, with like a distinct workflow, and I just loved it so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not expecting that, to be honest. I mean, I did drama when I was at school, and yeah, I got one standing ovation from singing.
There you go.
I think that was more because they felt sorry for me. That I can't.
No way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can tell by my voice. It's not. I haven't got the full setup, really.
Sure.
Okay, that's interesting. Right, we're going for the next question. Why do you prefer the Tasty IG over other platforms, without obviously being biased to an extent?
No, no biases here. To me, I think it is clean, clear. Every platform kind of has their own sort of semantics, like different ways of phrasing the same things. I think the way Tasty Trade and IG, the US options and futures platform has it laid out is really clean, really clear. I love the way you can just click a button for your strategy, and then also analyze your positions in a really unique way. Also, there is one feature that's very cool that is unique to this platform that none of the other platforms out there have, which is called order chains. And so that allows you to see your orders and kind of lump them up together so that you can see, oh, hey, I've been, profitable by this amount, or I've, lost this amount. And it kind of carries over the whole story for that specific symbol. And we can go into that a bit later now, but that is my favorite. I think it's a really neat tool.
Nice. Okay. Well, we've got a question that might lean quite nicely into this from our regular Arthur Fox-Haig. Where on the web platform can I find the link to follow the positions of the Tasty crew, such as Tom and Tony? So this is, I guess, a bit more, is copy trading available?
So it is on the US platform. It is not on the UK platform right now, so I can't find it. But that's good feedback.
Are you guys working on it?
I'm not sure. I don't believe so at the moment. I think there might be a regulatory concern, and that's the reason why, because the rules are different in the UK than they are in the States. And like for any country that we'd ever, offer the platform in, there's going to be some slight discrepancies just in terms of what we're allowed to show.
Of course, yeah. Well, maybe one day.
One day, yeah, I'm hopeful.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Now we can start looking at the platform a little bit because there's obviously someone who's got the experience on the platform is going to develop loads of little nippy little tricks and tips and all that you're going to find that other people are not going to find. So my next question is, what are some tips and tricks about the Tasty platform that aren't commonly known?
Yes.
Would you like to share with the people?
Of course. So I think the most kind of underrated portion of the platform that doesn't get a whole lot of praise is this, we call it the left-hand side gutter, and it can pop out like this. You would think, oh, hey, this is, all this is this black area, this daunting area here. But no, there's some actual information over here that you can use while you're, like, for example, looking at some NVIDIA options, right? If you're here and you're like, oh, hey, I want to know more about the fundamentals and whatnot while I am making my trade. You can gauge certain information. Of course, we know U.S. markets are not open right now, so some of this is empty, but that is because the U.S. markets, the regular session, I should specify, is not open yet. But we've got some fundamentals here. We've got like a mini chart, which can infer your decisions here. You can check out your positions if I had any on. But this account is wiped out, and this is actually kind of a good starter point, just because if you're somebody who is new to this platform and kind of wants.
Did you wipe that out?
No. No, I was going to make a joke, but no, I did not. But this is kind of a good baseline level because should you open an account, this is what you're going to see. And you can play around with it until it does get filled up. Activity, this is going to be all of your trade information. So it's not going to gauge like your deposits or withdrawals or anything like that, but just the literal trades themselves. This is activity, I should specify. Watch list. So a lot of the stuff you have on here, you can just get a mini view. So you can keep doing whatever you got to do and then keep your eyes on other options. This is the order chains that I was referencing earlier. I know they all kind of, I wouldn't say look similar, but they're not fully fledged right now because this doesn't have anything to really reference. But you've got things like you can sort by year to date, 365, all your trades on NVIDIA. One other thing I did want to show is the charts and how you can just scroll into this. I think that's really clean and nice to get a view. And
Is there like key shortcuts when it comes to either like indicators that you can use that are a bit easier to kind of digest on the platform?
I wouldn't say there's shortcuts necessarily like a Command F or Command Z or whatever you want to call it. But there's definitely thorough indicators here. These are the indicator settings. So you can get actually like, even more specific with it than just plugging the indicator yourself. You've got a little bit more autonomy on how things look. Indicator templates, similar.
Do you know if there's similar indicators compared to the IG platform? Do you know how they differentiate?
I would say they're probably going to have the classics, the RSIs, the bullet.
Salted, the cheese and onions.
Yeah, we may have some different terms for them. Actually, for those, I don't recall hearing about cheese and onions.
Do you have cheese and onion crisps in America?
We have.
That's not an indicator.
No, okay. I was so confused.
I'm being sorry.
No, we've got we don't have cheese and onion crisps. We have like cheese and like sour cream and cheese. I feel like it's hard now. It's all like a blur, really. I can't even remember my life before London at this point.
Do you prefer it?
Don't tell them.
No, yes. It's better than America.
Keep me here. No, for real. But I would say all the classics, they are pretty thorough. You can do drawings on here. Let me just get to something a bit more. Like we can put a little, icon on here if we want to, like, ooh, watching this. Like there's just all different kinds of things. I would just say we can draw. I would just say with the platform, it's all muscle memory. And the more you use it, the more intuitive it gets. We can do different, different chart types. So there's all different kinds of really fun things that you can use. I myself am more of a fundamental trader. I like to look at the statistics, but I totally understand people who like charts and like the visual aspect of that. But I prefer kind of just looking at things like earnings, high, low. Yeah, that's my jam.
And color scheme wise, what's the adaptability on the platform itself?
Great
Of course, you've got dark mode there, but can you customize?
Yes, indeed you
color
can.
charts like we
Indeed
want
you
for the
can.
rainbows?
So, I mean, in terms of...
Or yeah, is it basically like Sosnoff dictates this? And
No, I mean, we've got... So that's malleable, but if we're... at first, my mind just went to, can the platform change colors? And it can. Look at this. Check this out.
I'm glad I got my glasses on.
I know. Well, I also have a bright screen, but yeah, you can. It's malleable in that sense. We know not everybody likes the same view.
But more the color, the candlesticks. Are they able to change colors as well in case you don't like green and red?
In case I don't like green and red, yes,
Yeah.
yes they can, and that would be. Sorry, I've been so in the IG world that it's taken me a couple seconds here. Here we are, chart settings. This is what we're looking for, colors.
Here we go.
And let's do, we can do, see that, the on the side, the price line there? We've got all kinds of things we could do. Let's do the grid. Let's do green grid. Yeah, we got all kinds of options here. Nothing is off limits, and the platform is also not a finished product. And when I say that, I don't mean like it is a beta version. I mean that we're always taking feedback. We always want to give the people what they want. So there's updates, improvements constantly.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
We have the next question from our
Sure.
old reliable. He's always here. And we're slowly persuading him to try and come on the show, which one day will get you, Monkey Man. So Monkey Man asks, can you overlay two charts on the same screen?
You cannot overlay two charts.
Can you look a split screen though?
Yeah, you can do multiple. That
show
would be tasty charts. Give me one moment. I think I am in a silly version of the platform because right now my computer is kind of set up in America and the UK, so it's right now I'm not finding it on here. It does exist. My platform's a little bit wonky right now because my geolocation is all over the place. If we take me off for a second, I can get a better rundown.
Well, whilst you're doing that, remember, if you are out there and you've not subscribed, I am paid by the like apparently, so just make sure you do subscribe. We're trying to. What is the Rolls-Royce price share at the moment? Actually, shall we try and?
Yeah,
that's our aim for the week is to match Rolls-Royce. Where's it trading? So 857 currently. So we're about 860. We've got quite a long way to go. So you need to share it with your friends, your family, your guinea pigs, your pets, whoever, your aunt, maybe your.
Where are the guinea pigs?
Maybe I've tried. My gran subscribed. Gran, if you're out there. Love you. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah. Thank you for the onion and cheese crisps.
But we'll take the chart now. So have you got something? I'll beat it.
I am not quite ready just yet. Sorry.
Right. Can you do, so when the news comes in overnight, can you get like a bell ringing when on the Tasty platform? So is there like a notifications? Like that, more or less. So
we have a bell for the open and close on the platform. Beyond that, I mean, I don't think anyone would be opposed to that. That's good feedback. We can definitely submit it to the team. Let's see.
And anything we discuss here, guys, as always, is literally just kind of feedback that we're trying to all learn out live. So we always take feedback as well. So askig.com.
Yeah.
Send it in, and we send it off to the dev teams. We send it off to the relevant teams. This is the point of the entire show.
It was on there all along. I'm just a silly girl.
Letting me flounder.
Yeah, I think I just, I'm so immersed in IG that now I'm forgetting. I'm becoming such a Londonian.
Good answer.
Yeah,
So
that
bad,
it's tricky. But yeah, if you want to look at this, look at all these. This is dependent on your screen size as well. I still have this panel up. So for that reason, I'm only getting 3. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So if I wanted to look at like multiple charts at the same time, like boom, boom, I can do so. I can't overlay them at this point in time, but I can look at all of them. So that's kind of nice.
Is it smart enough in the way where, let's say you're looking at NVIDIA, for example, is it suggesting another tech stock for you to potentially be looking at?
No, and I think that that is probably a business decision just because we can't like tell people what to trade because we're not Tom. Tom is on Tasty Live, and Tasty Live, they can, you know, give kind of, hey, I'm trading this. I'm, you know, if you're like this, maybe you'll like that. On the brokerage side, and the side that creates the platform, we have to be a bit more careful due to those regulators. Like I mentioned before, we just have to be any brokerage has to be really careful. So I would say not necessarily, but as an alternative, you can check out the pre-curated watch list. So say you were and ignore some of this stuff because it looks, this is a little bit American. I had to pop over to the American one, but that wasn't necessary after all. Anywho, so like say you want to look at all the earnings coming up, right? We could do so. So it's not going to default like AI know like what you're interested in, but it will give you some like a rundown of things like based off of sectors, all that kind of good stuff.
I saw positions there as well.
Indeed.
Is there a way of essentially toggling on like active positions in a sense? Because whenever I'm doing things and bits and bobs, sometimes it's nice to see your positions live, sometimes it's not like nice to see your positions live. So what does that interactivity look like when you're on the chart and you're trading?
The
Is that different when it comes to options? Options is a world that I do not understand, if I'm honest. So.
One moment here. I'm going to pop back over to this one real quick. Could you repeat your question?
So when you're trading normally, like a CFD or spread bet or whatever, do you have options when it comes to basically showing your positions and hiding your positions and showing your P&L, not your P&L, etc.?
You do, yeah, and that's going to be the privacy mode here. So you notice in this account, I don't have any of that visible, right? The P&L, buying power, all of that. And that is similar to where we were before for settings. And if we go to general, or rather accounts, you can just check that box and that's going to show your privacy mode. If I wanted to show the world everything, I could uncheck the box. And this as well too, privacy mode.
Okay, interesting, lovely. Anything else on the platform that you're like, do you know what, that's been really, really useful for me in the past?
I would say the order chains, like I referenced before. Anything else? Setting alerts is pretty cool. You do have to be cognizant of if you want to get the alert when it's greater than a certain price or less than a certain price. So that is something to be cognizant of. But yeah, this is cool. You could choose to either get a text or a notification on the platform, or rather, yeah. So that's a nifty tool for you here.
Lovely. So in a couple of weeks' time, we'll be doing this live with Tom and Bat.
Yeah.
And Rich as well. He'll be doing he'll be a puppet, and his credit card limit will be exposed live.
Sure.
Will you be there Friday, 20th of June?
Indeed.
Okay.
I will be there.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. I'm going to be there. Apparently, I've got a name tag to wear.
Well, I guess I'm not that fancy. I don't think I have one.
Yeah. Will you be doing platform demos there? So I think. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's anything you've seen here today that you want to know more about, and you are coming on Friday, 20th of June, I will, as always, put the link in the description. It's free to go. Sign up. Come meet Rich. Come meet myself if you really want to. Not sure why you would. Cam, the director, might be there. We're trying to persuade him to come. Cam, yeah. If you want to come, Cam, you'll be coming. So yeah, if you've got any questions about the platform, obviously we'll be doing it live with the pros, and obviously Jolie will be there, and we can see how much we can get Rich to put his money where his mouth is. Finally.
There we go. Yep.
And have you met Dylan Rattigan yet?
No, I haven't.
You've not? No.
No. I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Well, Dylan is up next. So we've got Dylan chatting with Rich. Is Dylan coming to the show, Rich? Dylan will be in Milan.
Yes, I'm not going to that show, unfortunately.
I've not been offered to go to Milan yet. I'm waiting for the first class business ticket to Milan.
I know, right? Same.
I think that's wishful thinking. But yeah, Dylan will be up next, as always. So Rich and Dylan are going to see us through to the end of the show. So if you have any questions for Dylan, please get them in.
Please.
And yeah, thank you, Jolie. This has been great. I've learned a lot about the Tasty platform.
Me too. I mean, I've had a great time.
You should hopefully learn nothing about Tasty. We're always learning. Every day's a school day.
Every day, you never stop learning.
Never stop
especially with options and futures.
That's one area that I don't know. Whenever Rich is doing it live, I'm just like, I don't know what this man's talking about. You know?
Yeah. There's just, there's a whole lifetime of knowledge to learn.
Well, strap in. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me as always. Discord-wise, I'm really trying my best. We're getting blocked a little bit, so I'm going to keep pushing it. If not, we will find a way of getting a Discord out there and getting people chatting afterwards. So I am working on it. I'm sorry I've had to not lie, but just mislead people a little bit. I wouldn't say misled. Just I've pushed people a little bit.
Sure.
I don't like to push people at all. But unfortunately, you know, this is just sometimes the way the world works.
Sometimes
so, yeah,
the way
it's
the cookie
coming
crumbles.
one day soon. So yeah, it'll be on there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next.
If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Watch Trade Live with IG weekdays from 7:30 a.m. on our brand new YouTube channel at Trade Live with IG.
As well as the live show on our new YouTube, you will find our full beginner's course to trading options, daily YouTube shorts of all the action that happens after the show's finished, and Trade of the Week and Psychology of Markets.
And don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive trading content. Welcome to the exciting world of options trading. If you're looking to add a new dimension to your trading strategy, you're in the right place. Options trading offers unique benefits that can elevate your investing game. With options, you can protect your portfolio against market downturns, essentially creating an insurance policy for your investments. Now, what sets us apart is our commitment to your success. We provide extensive educational content to help you understand options trading inside and out. And with our 24-hour servicing, support is always just a call away. But that's not all. Options also allow you to generate income from your existing positions. Strategies like covered calls let you profit even when your stocks aren't making big moves. Options also shine when the market isn't following a clear direction, whether prices are rising, falling, or staying flat. There's always an option strategy you can use to potentially benefit. Now, we offer two ways to trade options: listed options for US shares, ETFs and futures, and over-the-counter options through spread bets and CFDs. Both types give you the ability to take various market positions. So, ready to explore the potential of options trading? Well, open an account today and take your first steps into this dynamic market. Remember, while options trading can be rewarding, it comes with risks. Always trade within your means and never risk more than you can afford to lose.
So today we're on set filming our latest ad campaign for IG Invest. IG Invest is the latest innovation from IG. It's aimed at those who are interested in investing or maybe have a bit of knowledge but want to become more experienced. And what we've done is created a really beautiful, easy to use app, and now we've got to publicise it, and that's what we're doing today and trying to capture. So we worked on this ad campaign with Otherway, who are our creative agency. And what we really wanted to do is think about breaking down the barriers to investing. And so we wanted to think of an idea that was playful, fun, but also inspired empowerment.
So essentially, look, a lot of financial advertising can be quite dry, a little bit kind of wallpapery. And I think the idea was just to create something that was really eye-catching and kind of use that distinctive IG red, but put it in this really interesting metaphorical space where investors felt really kind of calm and kind of very effortless in what they're doing.
So my work is colorful, it's poppy, it's quite surreal, and I think this is one of the projects that is a perfect match. It's really nice to have a company that's very brave in their approach, and I think as a creative, as a potential target audience of the whole thing, I think it's going to work very well.
There were too many people to name who've worked on this project. You know, at IG, it's really important that we move at pace whilst delivering really high quality work. So we've had to have the best brains in the business on this one, and we really hope that you like the result.
It's been a real pleasure working with IG. I think ultimately as a brand, they're really keen to push things and kind of take the financial kind of advertising space somewhere slightly more interesting. So it's been a real joy for us to work with them and help them kind of get there on their journey.
Right, we've had to have a quick shift round because Angeline took Dylan out for dinner last night and we can't find him. So Dylan is somewhere in Milan, I'm sure, trying to get online. But in the meantime, I am going to treat you to our latest in the beginner's options guide. So remember, we had already done 19 of these. This is lesson 20 and it's going to be on vertical, debit and credit spreads. So let's go back into our beginner's options guide. Now, you won't remember, but a long time ago, we took a look at the 4 basic options strategies. Those were short puts and calls and long puts and calls, right? Very simple, basic strategies. And those are naked strategies and the risk reward profiles are much greater, right? However, those are undefined risks and often lead to higher BPR requirements. That can be too much for newer traders and smaller accounts, right? And I've had quite a few of you ask me, look, I want to put on this trade, like Luke Moore was talking about in Google. However, putting on this trade is asking for a big lumpy BPR or a margin in the first instance. So I thought it'd be good to look at this. If we define the risk, that means that you know exactly how much the maximum loss is going to be. And it helps to manage that potential downside and avoid large unexpected losses, especially in those smaller accounts. Now, the way to do this is through a vertical spread. Sounds a lot more complicated than it is. All it is really is buying one option and selling another for the same expiry and the same stock. Right, there you go. Involves buying and selling options of the same type and expiry at different strikes. And it's used for more moderate price moves, right? So if you're a little bit, in Goldilocks terms, not too hot, it's not too cold, but you want to predict a move in the stock, then you can use a spread. So the cost and risk, it offers lower cost and risk compared to naked options, and that proceeds from selling partially, offsetting the purchase cost, right? So you buy one that might be expensive, but you sell another to bring down that cost. However, it does cap the potential profits, right? So this isn't suitable for if you think something's going to get bid for or you think it's going to have a profit warning. Then you're better just to go out and trade one stock. One option. On the bull side, bullish traders can use a bull call and a bull put spread by buying lower strike options and selling higher ones, right? So you want to buy the lower strike and sell the high ones because you're a bull. So with bull call spreads resulting in a net debit and bull put spreads give you a net credit, right? In other words, if you're buying a call spread for the stock to go up, you're going to pay for that. Or if you're selling a put spread because you do not think the stock will go down, right? You're bullish because you don't think the stock will go down. You sell that put spread and that means you get a net credit. Now, bearish traders use bear call and bear put spreads the opposite way around. They sell the lower strike and they buy the higher ones. So if that's below the price, then you think the stock's going to go down. You want to get leverage position into that. But if you don't think the stock's going to go up, right? We talked about WPP this morning. I don't think that NVIDIA is going to go up above 160. So I could sell the call spread. So I sell this one at 150 and, I sell the one at 160 and then buy the one at 170 just to bring my margin requirement down. And there's the nice, pretty pictures of how to do it, right? You are long a call vertical spread. You can see where the asset is at the moment, and you can see where the assumptions would leave you, right? So that is long a call vertical spread. Long a put vertical is just the opposite, right? You're going, you're buying a put, and then you can see the profit is capped because you're selling that put at a lower level. Now, what about the opposite? What about shorting? Well, there you go. Again, you can see from both of these, it is defined risk. There is a maximum amount you can lose even if it goes wrong. Okay, so yes, you're capping the upside, but you're also capping the downside. That is, of course, why the BPR is much lower. Right, real world example for you. Those of you that like an actual, we're talking about a stock. An investor looking to put on a stock moving higher may embark on a bull vertical call spread. What does this mean? Well, the investor buys an option on XYZ, let's say Nike, and the stock is trading at, well, okay, what stock is $50? God, it's hard to think of something that's 50 actually. But imagine, yeah, buying an in-the-money option with a strike price of 45 for $4 and sells an out-of-the-money call with a strike price of 55 for $3, right? At expiration, the company's stock trades at 49. In any case, the investor would exercise their call, paying $45 and selling for 49. That gives you that $4 profit, right? The call that they sell higher expires worthless. So the $4 profit from the stock sale plus the $3 premium, less the $4 premium paid. I don't think he's given you the most simple example here. That leaves you a net profit for the spread, okay? Your original outlay is $4 for the call, right? Then $3 for the premium. And less the $4 premium paid. Yeah, I do not think that is the easiest example to give. So you're paying $4 for a call, and then you're receiving $3 for selling the other call. So your net cost is $1, right? Your net cost is $1. The takeaways, right? In vertical credit spreads, the short option is the asset, right? In vertical credit spreads, the short option is the asset. The long option, essentially an insurance contract we purchase to define our risk on the short option. The max profit on the credit spread is the credit received, and that's just like selling a naked option. And the max loss is defined on credit spreads and is calculated by taking the width of the spread and subtracting the credit received on trade entry. Right, that's us back to our beginner's guide to options. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll see if we've managed to get Dylan online or the story from where Angeline took him out to dinner last night.
Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next.
If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves. Right, so poor Dylan is stuck on a train in Milan, in the Milan sunshine. That's the excuse anyway. We don't know what Angeline's done to him last night on this dinner out that they had. But we've got an upgrade for you. Sorry, Dylan, if you're watching. We have got my interview with Tom Sosnoff, who, a reminder, is coming to this very city of London on the June the 20th. So if you haven't seen this interview with Sosnoff, he has got some great stories. He really does. It's going to take us a bit longer. You can, by all means, stick around. It's about 40 minutes long, but we're going to pop it on for you. The great Tom Sosnoff, who built not only Thinkorswim from the ground, but then took the idea of Tasty Trade and Tasty Live and built it into the best retail options platform in the US today. Here is a man that built a business and sold it for $1 billion. Well worth the watch. Today I'm joined by Tom Sosnoff, trader, founder, now grandfather, and the man who somehow turned option Greeks and risk curves into binge-worthy television. He's built billion-dollar businesses and a hugely popular daily television show. Friends and colleagues might call him opinionated to his face. They call him charismatic behind his back, cantankerous, and usually always right. Though he may say that's just the probabilities talking in his favour. Today, Tom's agreed to help us launch our brand new YouTube channel. In this interview, Tom Sosnoff, a very good welcome to you.
Thank you, Rich. I think that was like we like to say, a CompuSalt, but I'll take it. I'm ready, man. I've been looking forward to this.
Right, let's go. Let's dive in. So for those in the UK hearing the name Tom Sosnoff for the first time, please introduce yourself.
I'm just kind of like, have you heard the expression gym rat?
I have not heard that.
Like in the US, an expression would be like, if you're one of those people that hang around the gym all the time just looking for pickup games and, you know, just working out and stuff like that, they call you a gym rat. I'm definitely not a gym rat, but I'm more like the gym rat equivalent of a trader. Like if there's a market out there and there's like something to you know, something to some free market to bet on, to participate in, to make a market on, I am the equivalent of a trader rat, like the gym rat for traders. That would be the easiest way the best way for me to describe myself. I'm a self-proclaimed junkie.
So I was the same from the age of 6 or 7 years old. I would go into the pub for lunch with my mum and dad, and there was one of those gaming machines with all the lights flashing, and that was it. That was the highlight of my day, putting in 50 pence pieces and trying to win the jackpot. And that, you know, that was an early sign of all these flashing lights on a screen really being the appeal for me. But what's the appeal about trading to you, Tom? What is it that has turned it into that hobby or almost passion for you?
I think that it's almost like it's a challenge. It's an unsolvable equation, or it's a nonstop challenge, and the goal lines keep moving. So, you know, it's like you keep reaching, you keep getting a little better, you keep starting to figure things out. You have some wins, you have some losses, but you can never really you can never capture the rabbit. You know, like in the dog races or whatever. Like, you know, I'm that lead dog that's always out there, but I'm never going to get that damn rabbit. And I think that's what keeps me going.
And when you thought you've caught it, when you've had a big win, then the market turns around and slaps you in the face a few days after, doesn't it?
I think that's just, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of a randomness freak, so I feel like that's just part of the game. You know, you have to be willing to accept that. It's just it's all part of what we do.
What about going back to the start? Because, you know, you have certainly got the years of experience behind you. Back on that floor in Chicago, was there anybody that you looked up to right at the start?
I mean, right at the start, I think I looked up to people that I didn't really know who they were. They just seemed to be, you know, there was like local legends, so to speak. So they seemed to be faster, and, you know, I thought they were smarter than I was. They were definitely faster. They could do the math in their heads faster. And I didn't really know what was going on when I first started. So I would like kind of watch in awe, you know. I'd watch some guy next to me make a couple $1,000s, and I was trying to make, you know, a couple of $10, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's impressive. You know, I want to get there someday. But there was nobody that really mentored me or anything like that. There were definitely some big traders and some really fast traders that I thought, oh, these guys, you know, this is cool what these guys can do. Maybe I can get there someday.
And now, you know, many would say you have got there and you've taken others from around you on that floor into business.
You know, when I first started, I didn't have any money, and so somebody took a shot and bet on me. You know, some basically random stranger, and in a city that I didn't live in, didn't come from, you know, whatever. And I always felt after that, you know, I got to do the same thing. Like I got to take shots with random people too, and I think that's kind of what started it, you know, throughout the years. And I think probably in the last, whatever it's been, 40 years, we've probably hired 1,000 people off the trading floor. You know what? Something close to that. Crazy number.
And even, you know, Beth mentioned that she was a receptionist was it at Thinkorswim?
She was. We hired her, Beth, who's still, you know, she's basically worked with me since she got out of college. So now it's probably been going on like 17 or 18 years. But the funny thing was, I met her dad my first day on the floor, and her uncle, you know, her uncle and I were like really close friends for, you know, we still are. So it's been, you know, 40 years. So it's kind of crazy. Small
and
world.
That first job, the person that gave you the chance, was that Drexel Burnham Lambert? Is that right?
No. That was some guy on the floor, some random guy. I didn't know him. I just met him. And, you know, traders back then, floor traders were very much like, it was a small little world. And I think if you could help somebody out, somebody would take a shot, you know, because everybody there got a break somehow. Like the world of pit traders was not like, you didn't go from Harvard or Cambridge or Oxford or Yale into the trading pits in Chicago. You know, you went. It was a broad mix of like alpha dogs and you know, high school dropouts, and it was just a weird mix of, you know, people that had flunked out of everything from boxing school to law school to, you know, all these different places. So it was this very eclectic mix of crazy personalities. And I think everybody kind of, you know, they would take a shot with you blind, which I loved.
Do you know we've had two visitors?
The best way to describe it, Rich, way too many young people with way too much money is the way I would look at it. Back in the day, you know, back in the day.
And a lot of testosterone.
A lot of testosterone. Yeah, way too much testosterone.
So that became evident. We had two visitors come into IG in recent weeks, and both of them started work on the life floor. Now, the life floor, of course, London, Chicago equivalent, but it was actually in the building where IG now has its offices. So you know those three elevators that come up from the ground floor to where you get the elevator? So back when there was protests happening from the anti-capitalists, some of the anti-capitalists broke into the building and were halfway up the elevators, only to be met with 25 traders at the top of the elevators, pushing them, punching them back down. And that was, you know, the guys on the London floor. And everybody was watching, of course, and cheering them on.
Oh, I never heard that story before. That's cool.
So, well, let's go current day then. When you wake up in the morning, what's your morning routine from waking up to coming into Tasty HQ?
Should we take out the showering part? You know, okay.
You can do that. Although a lot of good ideas come from shower.
My brain works better in the morning, so I am a very early riser. So I've been getting up 4 in the morning for the last forever, like, you know, crazy early. Back in the trading days, we used to have to get on the floor, down to the floor, sometimes 2 or 3 in the morning, just to get our spots.
Wow.
And we would sleep in the lobby of the exchange building to wait for the doors to open so we could get our spots in the trading pit, because your spot was where the value was, you know, wherever you were located, you were closer to the order flow. But, you know, even when we built, you know, Thinkorswim and then Tasty, I'm a 4 a.m. person no matter what. And I like, because my mind works better, and I get a lot of stuff done between 4 and, you know, 6 in the morning, and then I come into work.
That's incredible. And then when you do sit down and you're ready to trade, what's the first thing you look at to get a gauge of how the market is?
Oh, I really just watch. I pretty much watch the market as close to around the clock as you can, but I just watch futures for the most part. You know, the futures markets are 24/5, so I watch those. Have a pretty good feel for at least what's been happening, not necessarily what's going to happen, but what's been happening. And then once the market opens, you know, then I kind of flip the switch and much more take the mode of option trader.
And then we see you on air. You have sort of quite proudly say you don't really care what you're trading because you've got a strict set of rules and guidelines that have been refined over many years with statistics backing them up. Well, first of all, how many trades do you do in a day, roughly?
I have a full-time job, so it's hard, but I'd say most days 75 to 100 would be like an average. I do, yeah, about 16 to 18,000 a year.
And are there favorite stocks or indices in there to trade? We heard from you today that you can't make money for your life in GLD at the moment. But what about the favorites?
I'm just having a hard time in gold, but I trade anything that's liquid, so I'm pretty indifferent. I mean, there's a couple stocks I just don't do very well in, but for the most part, I trade anything that's liquid. It really doesn't. I don't distinguish that much. I mean, of course, we all have stocks we think we do a little better in, but I prefer the most liquid underlyings, no matter what.
Apart from illiquid products, then, is there anything that you would not trade, that you wouldn't touch?
Not really. I just don't like to be put into a situation that I can't win. So I don't touch, I don't put any serious money, for example, in sports betting, or casino gambling, because I know that the odds are so bad. In the financial markets, I feel that it's a pretty level playing field, so I'm very comfortable.
And what helps that level playing field? What takes you into the probability of winning?
Well, I think that for me, being an option trader, it's not like I'm smarter or know more than anybody else. It's just that I understand that if you do something enough times, just straight law of large numbers, that if you have a probabilistic advantage, it's going to play out that way. So, and a probabilistic advantage is not necessarily any kind of edge, theoretical edge at all. It just means that if there's an 80% chance this option is not going in the money, there's an 80% chance it's not going in the money. That's pure math. It's not, there's nothing subjective about that. So if you do it enough times, it's going to be 80%, and that's all.
And of course, Charlie Munger was asked, Charlie, are you and Warren just clever than everybody else? And he said, no, we're just less stupid.
Yeah, sometimes I'd question that about Charlie Munger, but that's just my own personal thing. Charlie and I didn't know him at all, but I did not see eye to eye with his approach to investing and or trading. There's a lot of Charlie Munger isms that I don't actually like, but fantastic. So he's not my Charlie Munger, and like Jack Bogle and those guys are not my favorite cup of tea. I don't like that's I'm giving that one to you. I don't like the old school passive investors that basically tell you to sit back, relax, and close your eyes for 25 years. It's not my style.
No. Aside from that, then, what do you think's your most overrated investment strategy or tip?
Well, what do I think what is the most common?
Yeah, what have you heard out there that you just think is overrated and you don't agree with?
Well, I think a lot of things. First of all, overrated for me would be technical analysis. Overrated would be fundamental analysis. Overrated for me would be anybody who thinks they actually know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Overrated would be people that think that that they can pick stocks or pick futures and be right. Like that, to me, that kind of stuff. I'm a strategist. I don't think of markets the same way other people do, and I just don't believe that there's people out there that have any kind of an edge or advantage because they think they know what's going to happen next.
That's going to really make people's ears prick up, because if somebody that's been around the greats of the market for so long that they believe that they've got an edge, that's so interesting to hear somebody so experienced with that view.
Not a chance. I don't believe that there's anybody. And listen, if it was possible in the world of AI right now, AI can process anything it can process anything, all available information. Then AI should be able to pick winners, right? But it can't, because there's nothing to R about. You can't R about randomness. So, yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest kind of fallacies of trading and investing, is that somebody knows something more than you know.
Fantastic. Now, let's go to the live show. The live show you and Bat have been doing together for a number of years now. What's the funniest thing that you can recall ever happening?
Oh my God, we've had moments where we literally can't stop laughing because I have to think about this for a second, because I feel like every day I come to work and we kind of lose it. I mean, well, you understand something about the Bat. Like, he can say some things that you're just like, you're listening and you're like, he didn't just say that, did he? And he did. So I'm not sure that like I can point to any like just one thing that he said or did, but I think we've laughed nonstop on air for 14 straight years.
Yeah.
Just the general silliness. We've known each other for 40 years. There's a lot of history there. There's we have a lot of stories. So.
And do you think that's part of the magic that make people coming back every morning and every afternoon to watch?
I think listening to two people kind of bullshit about their lives, and they've had interesting lives, is entertaining. I mean, I love that part of the network. I love the part where we talk about everything from, our kids to our wives to the food we like, to the trip we took, to whatever we did.
To wearing
yesterday.
a name on the back of the shirt to a baseball game.
Of course, wearing the name on the back of the shirt to a baseball game. I first met Tony. We were playing softball in Chicago. We both played in some league, and I didn't even know him, but we traded in the same pit, which is crazy. But we met on a softball field. So it was fun.
Fantastic. Now, a question to you. You and Tony's plane crashes into a desert island. You can have one other person from the Tasty team who can help you and has the skills to help you guys survive. Who would it be, and what's that skill?
Oh my God, the skills to help us survive. We crash somewhere. We're just dead. Let's see. We would probably, like if we had to bring one person, it would have to be Beth, because she's the only one that can handle us both. And she's the poor girl's been, an adult babysitter now for, the last 15, 20 years. So I think that I think that, it's only fitting that she goes down with the ship, as they say.
And she's on holiday right now, bless her, after going through the 10-year anniversary last week that we saw on the show. What a wonderful photo that was. Bat clearly appreciated it.
100%. Yes, absolutely.
What is the worst piece of dog shit stock you've ever traded?
I mean, I've had a bunch of stocks over the years go to zero. So, like, I would say anything that I've owned that has, you know, that has basically gone bankrupt overnight. There's been a couple of them. Like, I remember once, I don't know if you remember the commodity firm Revco. They were Chicago-based commodity firm. They suffered from fraud. They closed. I thought they were trading about $25, and I thought they were, you know, it got down to 10, and I thought that's ridiculous. So I bought a bunch of stock at $10. The next day it opened at basically zero, 50 cents. That was like a nasty trade. And, you know, I've had different stocks, especially in like, you know, 2008, where at some point, you know, we bought some Merrill Lynch before it went to basically zero. And, you know, you buy a bunch of stocks like that. I've had some, you know, some experiences like that. Sun Microsystems comes to mind as a stock that never bounced. I mean, AMD was a stock I sat with for what felt like 5 years before it ever had an uptick, and I couldn't wait to sell it at like $3. Now it's like 100, you know. But I don't really dwell on that stuff. I mean, I've probably made, I'm guessing, 100 or 200,000 losing trades in my career.
Yeah.
You know, like at least 200,000 losing trades. So I don't even think about it. Like it doesn't even, you know, it all just goes with the territory with me.
Yeah. Yeah, trade small and trade a large number of products.
Yeah, I've probably made as many trades personally as any person in the world. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that's done more, but I don't think there's more than 2 or 3 people that have done more, you know, in the whole universe. So, so I'm pretty indifferent to, you know, like I'll literally trade anything, and you know, that's it.
Out of all those trades there was a great phrase that we had on the trading floor: better to be lucky than clever. Is there one that stands out that was really luck, and a lot of luck?
There wasn't, but we always used to say, so in Chicago, you know, everything, it basically trades around the S&Ps. And when the S&Ps first started, the month they started in was U for September. So they called the S&Ps SPUs, SPU. So in Chicago on the floors, then everybody just said, what are the SPUs doing? So it's it's just, what are the S&Ps doing? And it's what everybody hedged virtually every trade with. So most people would wear a button that just said SPUs don't lie. And I think that's the message, because no matter what we all thought, these stupid futures were always right. Yeah. You know, like no matter what we thought, the futures were right no matter what. So,
and that's it, isn't it? The market is always right, and it's hard to go against.
The SPUs don't lie. SPUs don't lie was kind of like okay, I got it.
I feel that there should be a T-shirt with this on nowadays.
Oh, there used to be.
One thing you would change about the financial industry?
There are some. I mean, industry-wide, it's so huge, and there's so many different regulatory bodies. I mean, what I'd like to see is more collaboration among regulators to be so that customers can compete fairly. That's one of the things I'd like to see. Is right now we have too many different regulatory bodies, and thus the customers have this, we call it kind of like regulatory confusion, like they're not sure what the capital requirements are for this, you know. So I would like to see a better regulatory environment. I'd like to see more standardization among among different exchanges and products and things like that. And I'd like to see the exchanges reduce their fee structure, because I think that they rip off customers with ridiculous data fees and clearing fees and things like that, and exchange fees. They're all for-profit institutions, and I think that, you know, they wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for the customers. So I would really like to see the exchanges, especially reduce their data fees. I think they're ridiculous.
Well, that leads me nicely into the next question as well. There was a young lad who came to see you in Edinburgh with his mother when you were doing the tour. And he says thank you for inspiring him into his early trading journey. But also he sent you a question in. And it is, do you think there's one key feature or innovation on the retail trading platforms that are still missing?
Well, it depends which platform. Like, one of the nice things about the software that we've built is that it includes everything. And I think that every platform should be inclusive of every product and every strategy like we do. And I think that's missing from a lot of the industry. I also think that, you know, in a perfect world, we would be able to expand, you know, in the US, we'd be able to expand beyond the US. That's why I'm so looking forward to what tokenization might look like in the future. You know, when we get true blockchain clearing set up and when we can tokenize different underlyings, you know, I think that's the whole concept of globalization through tokenization is very exciting for the next generation. Like your generation, I think that's, I just think there's, with respect to your generation, you're in your infancy. That's all. I just think it's going to explode.
Now, Mr. Batista is on holiday this week. If there is one person, alive or dead, that you could have sitting next to you trading for even one session, who would you pick?
Not Mr. Batista. He stinks. Are you kidding me? I've seen him trade. All my friends are out. Like, if you're talking about Scott or Tony or JJ, I don't want those guys. They all stink. You know, I've been around them way too long. And
it's not Vecchio or Dr. Jim either.
Oh my God, no. Nobody that currently works here, that's for sure. They're too close to the fire. I can't handle that. You know, there's some fun, like, I would think there'd be some fun, like, legendary traders out there that probably that, not that anybody would recognize, because they're kind of like, they're legends in the derivatives world, you know, like, so you wouldn't know them. But in my world, they're kind of like, you know, they're legends because their minds work a certain way. They think about things different. You know, I'm fascinated by those guys.
Yeah. That's awesome. And have any of the movies come close to getting what it actually felt like back in the day? What's your favorite financial industry movie?
Oh, Trading Places, hands down. I mean, nothing can ever, you know, Trading Places nailed it. You know, it's a little over the top. It's a little backwards because it was filmed in the 80s and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But Trading Places was the closest thing to, you know, what the trading floors were like back then. And I mean, that was filmed on the New York COMEX, which was like a mini version of what was in Chicago. Chicago was like 10 times the size. But hands down, Trading Places. Nothing else is even in the same league.
That last scene on the trading floor is just absolutely golden. Any of our viewers who want to feel what it's like, that's the one to watch, isn't it?
Well, it's funny because so at the time when they filmed Trading Places, I had just come to Chicago, and I had moved out of a house where I lived with a bunch of buddies after we graduated college, and one of my buddies was trading on the floor of the COMEX where they filmed that. And so what they did was they filmed it on a Saturday, and they said anybody that wants to come in to be in a movie with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd can come in on Saturday, and you can all be extras. We're not going to pay you, but you could be in the movie if we pick your. The entire floor showed up on a Saturday in New York. They didn't pay anybody. They just
brilliant.
Everybody showed up with their trading jackets on, and they turned the exchange on, and whatever it was, and they were all there trying to get in the picture, you know.
Yeah.
So my buddy was there, but he didn't get in the in that
shame.
last scene with the orange juice and the whole deal. But it was supposedly an amazing day, and they filmed everything like right on the trading floor with all the traders, but they kind of did it backwards, I thought, you know. I don't think they should have shorted first and bought it, because I thought too many people got confused by that. But who knows?
But it was just golden. But there are very few trading floor scenes like that just encompass the whole feel of it.
Yeah. There are. We've done 2 documentaries at Tasty on trading over the years. We did one on Louis Borsellino called Sold. I don't know if you saw it, but it's great. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. He was the biggest S&P trader. It's on our site, and he was the biggest S&P trader like in the 80s or 90s, and you know, he blew up and everything else, and you know, blew up, blew out, whatever. But he's got great stories. His dad was a mobster, you know, like the whole thing. It's great. Awesome. And we did a documentary on him called Sold, and we also did in 2012. So this is 13 years ago. We did a documentary called Cancel Crash. And it's been watched like 20 million times. We thought at first when we filmed it that maybe you're going to have like, I don't know, 10 or 20,000 views. It's been watched like 20 million times.
Wow.
And it's called Cancel Crash. And it's the story, it's the 25-year anniversary of the 1987 crash. And we feature like, you know, a bunch of people in there. Like we were all trading the pit that day. And it's just, it's really interesting. It's a great documentary, and it's on our site.
So, okay, so if the viewers want to see that, they go Cancel Crash on YouTube, and they'll be able to find it on Tasty Live?
You can do it, Cancel Crash on YouTube or Cancel Crash on Tasty Live, or do Sold with Louis Borsellino on both. Same thing. They're just our own. They're free, and you should check. They're both about, I want to say about 30, 35 minutes long, and they're really well done. Like we did them. We did one 12 or 13 years ago, and the other one, you know, like 10 years ago or 8 years ago. I don't even know. They're older, but they're both great. And they're both, the Cancel Crash takes place on the SIBO floor, and then the other one takes place on the CME floor, and they're good.
Oh, fantastic. Right, that's my viewing for the weekend sorted out. Fantastic. I'll pop those.
You're going to love them.
I'll pop those links into the comments below our video here as well for all the viewers. Now, as well as watching that, the viewers can come and watch you, because you are coming back to London soon, aren't you, Mr. Sosnoff?
You and I are going to have, we're going on 2 dates together. We're going to be in London on June 20th. It's a Friday night. It's triple witching. And we're going to do a live trading show in front of a big audience. We're going to have so much freaking fun. Oh, and Tony's coming too. I conned Tony into coming. So it's you, me, and the bat. It's going to be great. We're going to have so much fun. And that's Friday night, June 20th. And then the following Monday on the 23rd, we're going to be in Milan. And it's just going to be you and me in Milan. And we're going to do the same exact event in first time in Italy. I'm hoping nobody speaks English, so that way nobody can complain about the show at all. But it's going to be fun. We're gonna trade them up. It's like I said, it's triple witching. It's going to be awesome.
That's going to be fantastic. We're going to get certainly plenty of volatility around just now. Let's hope that continues on. Final question. I'm not going to even bring up his name. We know that tariffs are utter BS and that they're against the whole American free markets ideal. But if Tom Sosnoff was president and he was going to put tariff on one thing to stop it getting into America, what would it be?
Oh, that is, if I had to put a tariff, so what is most likely to shorten my, I have to put a tariff on something that would most likely shorten my life. So what kind of horrible food do I eat that's being imported from somewhere? Help me out here. Like if I had to put a tariff on something.
Well, last time when I came on the show, you got a couple of Scottish products. Maybe you want to stop those coming into the country.
Yeah, no, I didn't mind those Scottish products. They were pretty good. No, I mean, I am so much about free markets. I am so anti-tariff that it would be completely against anything that, I mean, unfortunately right now it's a difficult time for us in America. We're dealing with a lot of stuff that we really don't need to be dealing with, that's not making the world a better place. And it's embarrassing and it's pissing us off. And, we'll deal with it. We'll figure it out and we'll eventually get things straightened out.
Well, thankfully, with all that stuff going on in the world, there is two places that you can make your day happier. And that first one is watching Tasty Live Show with Tom and Bat in the morning, and then returning for Last Call as well. And then, of course, in the morning, Trade Live with IG. Tom Sosnoff, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been my pleasure, and it's great to hear your stories and all that experience come through. All the best, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Rich. Awesome stuff. As always, thank you.